Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new live episode of the DLP Report Podcast. We're back, as every 2 weeks now from now on.
Well, maybe.
Hello. Hey, maybe.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
As usual, we have a ton of people. Jeff from DLP Town Square.
Hello.
Hi. Did everyone finish their food?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Elliot from Elliot.
We're settled in.
Hey,
Darren from, what are you from,
Darren
Darren?
Etienne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hello. Hi.
Hey. David from David at Home. Up in Scotland. What else is there? Patrick, are you here?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Hello. Patrick from Ireland or from Paris or I don't know. What everyone has to be from somewhere. Am I missing anyone?
Not this week. Well done, you.
Thank you. See? I'll learn. Viv is going to join us later. She had a few things to do. And Kat can't be here this week because she is with her family over in the US doing cat things. So lots of news this week.
Zoom quizzes.
Zoom quizzes.
Yeah.
I mean,
AT and not CA2. So yeah.
arguably, if you live on the continent, you are probably have stopped doing Zoom quizzes because you're allowed to do real life quizzes now. But
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's going to be the thing I miss, by the way, of lockdown. Like, I've actually started to love Zoom quizzes.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I've spoken
mean,
to my family more than ever.
Yesterday I went out to a park outside of London, and towards the end of the day, I was kind of like, wow, I think I miss my house. Like, it's weird because, you're outside for a whole day. That was just really surreal. Obviously, I don't miss my house, but,
It's really tiring as well, isn't it? Going out.
Oh my god, I was so tired last night.
Exhausted.
Right? It's exhausting. The sun, the wind, and also trying to run away from people. It's just so stressful. I mean, not that stressful, but it's always on your mind, So it will
You're
be
in the park,
interesting.
stand back.
Exactly. Well, it will be interesting when all the parks open, really, to see how guests are gonna adjust to that, because obviously I don't know. If Main Street gets busy, what do? Do you just panic and start screaming? I don't know. Are cast members gonna start screaming at people disperse or something? I don't know.
I think one thing you could do really easily is you could have the arcades. You've got two of them. You could have an in and out. That's quite interesting.
A one-way
That's
system.
probably what they'll do.
Yeah, I really feel that's a really good idea. And if they don't do that, then we should tell them.
You can have that idea for free. I won't
Exactly.
charge royalties or anything.
I'll make sure to tell them. Lots of news happened in the past 2 weeks. The biggest ones being park opening dates. So the first one that we got was, God, I don't know when that was.
Disneyland.
Disneyland. What was that? Last week.
Did World happen last 2 weeks? No, I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, we already talked about World in the last show. Do you not re-listen to our shows?
No, that's what I was thinking. World World already happened by then? I don't even know. Days. What are they?
Well, talking about Zoom quiz, we learn about Disney World on a Zoom call. I'm sure that's so 2020.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Disneyland Paris is going to be way better. We're going to learn it from the Union's Facebook page. So,
I love that page. They put a picture of an upside-down horse today. It was good fun.
Yeah, they did.
They were like, this is how well union negotiations are doing. And pushed a picture of a horse upside down.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I didn't really get it, though. Did you get what's the joke? I mean, I get it that they're
They
upside
were
down,
like,
but...
they were
idea
like,
is
this is
that
how
it's
it's
rubbish.
going,
Okay. Well, anyway, no, I think Disneyland Paris is now going to try to outsmart them. I hope they manage, because it's
They
nice
have
to get
another meeting.
Okay.
What the
Days, I
unions?
think?
Should we tell people what the unions are asking for, so we're not confusing them?
Well, there's two different types of meetings. There's one type of meeting that is about safety precautions in the parks, and then we'll be talking about that later. And the second meeting, go ahead, Elliot. about the HR hours, which is not really something that I usually talk to on the account because it's a very controversial topic and I just don't want to get killed. So you go ahead, Elliot.
So, at the moment, a lot of class members across Disneyland Paris have sort of fixed hours. So, they work every time a certain day, a certain time every day, and they have set days off every week. But obviously, being sort of like a tourist destination with flexible attendance and different seasons, it might not be the best way to manage the flow of working hours. So they published a consultation to basically allow, very similar to what you do like in the UK, where you can have different shifts at different times and work different hours on different days. So essentially that's in consultation with the unions right now. But obviously just typically the working culture in France is very set. So there is some adverse to it. But I just think
it's something that was already in on a voluntary basis for the past year, I think. So some people have been doing that, but now obviously they want to push it to everyone.
Because obviously they have to be careful because they've committed to not hiring anyone for the interim future. So the class they do have, they've got to be very strategic about how they manage the hours, and I think it's only fair, and that it's actually very good that they're not actually sort of doing redundancies and stuff like that when their business is going to be affected. So I just think people have to appreciate that Disney they were paying them for so many weeks at the start, and that all the CDIs will have a job to come back to. So while it might not be ideal, I don't think it's not like they're asking you to work unpaid or reduce your hours. They're just asking for a bit more flexibility, which I think is fair enough, especially when you work at a tourist destination. You know, I work for a retailer and my hours are flexible, and it's just you get your schedules and it's just how it works, you know? You learn to live with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one thing that, I'll give to the union is that, I mean, this is a measure that is, like you said, maybe is going to make things easier in that situation because, they're trying not to let go of anyone. So if they're more flexible, obviously they will be able to use the people they have better. But also, it's something that they've been trying to do for quite a few years. And so COVID is a little bit also like the, scapegoat for the whole thing. And I think, a lot of companies and even governments blame everything on COVID, so they're not the only ones. But I think there's a little bit of also like, oh, cool, we have a reason, let's just do it for everyone. But whatever gets them through, and they've done some concessions to the unions. So now they'll know the schedule 2 weeks in advance, and also they'll have 2 days of rest in a row, which is how it was before. They wanted to change that as well, so that's not going to be changed.
Those two things I think are definitely fair enough, and the unions are right to ask for. But I think sort of saying that you're going to sort of work for 6 hours on one day and then do 9 hours the next, just to make sure things are covered, I don't think that's a ridiculous asking, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course, because attendance varies a lot between days, weekdays, even like between each weekday. I mean, on some
plus
days,
you get extra breaks and everything, so it's not like you're.
Yeah.
So we'll 2 weeks brings it in line with Disneyland in California because that's how they work.
Yeah, they had 2 weeks before.
Oh, really? Okay, well that's good. So Disneyland is going to reopen on July 17th, right?
The downtown opening early as well.
Sorry?
Downtown opening on the 9th.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, are we even counting those now? What I mean?
I think what's interesting about Disneyland is the hotel's opening late.
Yeah.
So Paradise Pier and Grand Californian are both July the 19th, and the Disneyland hotel just doesn't have a date. They're just saying it's going to happen later.
Well, it is interesting that they're not going to be open on opening day, but we'll
I just think it's a type of demographic. I don't think they're going to have many people who need a hotel room if everyone who's going to be coming are local annual pass holders,
Do you think it's also because I saw a lot of people that were like on like American forums and they were saying that if staying in a hotel guarantees your entry, there was a lot of people willing to just
book hotels.
So it's probably just to try and avoid that as well, because I'm sure this like reservation system was probably going to be pretty like popular like it was for Galaxy's Edge and stuff like that in the past. So it's probably going to be swarmed. So at least it shows that you can't really buy your way into the park. It's kind of like
That's very true.
Well, you can't in Walt Disney World either. They announced last week that hotel guests do not have guaranteed entry to the park, and they have to use the reservation system. Like
They do
else.
and they don't. They will like there's not going to be a hotel guest that can't get into a park, but they can't just rock up to any of the 4 parks on the day and say I'm a hotel guest.
No, you're not. You're not guaranteed access to a park. So you get access to the portal the same day as AP holders and existing ticket holders.
I thought it said there was going to be early reservations for on-site guests.
No, so it's earlier than if you just want to buy a ticket for the day. It's not like.
Yeah.
So you might be able to book, say, 3 days in advance, let's say, for an annual pass holder / hotel guest. But if you're just a standard ticket holder, then you'll be later. But you don't have a ticket yet, so you'll be able to buy one later, I mean.
That's probably why they're encouraged. But again, I think these parks are going to have such a capacity compared to the amount of guests who are actually there that I don't think there's going to be swarms of people who can't get into the park. It might not be the park you want, but I think like there'll definitely be reservations at Epcot or something, for you to take, or Animal Kingdom.
I think Hollywood Studios will be the difficult one because it's quite small anyway, and it's got Rise, so it'll be the tough one.
I think Disneyland will manage the hotels much better than even say Paris, because in Paris we have 6, 7 hotels, something like that. And if they're all full and guaranteeing people going into the park, then we have quite a big problem.
Well, obviously we'll see what Paris announces, but it is highly unlikely that all the hotels open.
Yeah, no, for sure. But you know what I mean.
Like for example, if they try to, it's going to be the same issue as Disney World. So if they try to limit the number of hotel guests who are going to get access to the park, because obviously you don't want to have an unhappy hotel guest, especially in Paris, because in Paris, if you can't get into any other parks, then what the hell are you going to do? And also
go have a robot pizza.
Go to
go to Val d'Europe shopping. Go to the outlets. But also, who needs a hotel? Because obviously, are people gonna drive for the first few weeks? Are people gonna want to stay on site? And also, there's all the Val d'Europe hotels. So I really don't see that many hotels opening for a while in Paris either. So yeah.
And I think they're doing things. Well, they will do things too. I don't want to say discourage, but sort of nudge you towards probably cancelling. I feel like that's what Walt Disney World's been doing too. I know I cancelled. So
yeah,
but those European borders are opening, aren't they? So people over there can go. We can't in the UK yet.
Yeah,
but that might come.
I think that would change.
But I feel that's going to
July, August.
That's going to limit though, because I think Belgium, Netherlands, maybe Germany will drive over, but Spain, Italy, UK, you can't really have to fly. You don't have to, but and so are they gonna buy a last minute ticket to get a DLP in July?
Yes.
Yeah, the Spanish guests.
I probably so I sort of already said to myself that once I've decided that I'm kind of happy with things, I would probably just book that ticket and go, and I probably will do it last minute.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure I've got a reservation for the park, I'm not going to travel all the way to France if I can't get in. That's pointless.
Right. So it's kind of a tough one.
Well, Paris are going to have to do that way in advance, aren't they? Can't just do it a week at a time.
In Hong Kong, it's a week at a time, and in Shanghai, it was a week at a time.
But I think Hong Kong and Shanghai, the guests are coming from the city, aren't they?
That's it.
Whereas in Paris, it's more, there's going to be much more guests who are coming because it's a destination resort as opposed to... That's
you have to
plan.
Guests have to plan a bit more, don't they?
Yeah.
I do think a lot of families are going to look at the offerings though and be like, nah, maybe I'll wait till next year and see how things are.
Yeah.
I am super excited for some of them, the welcome kiss and goodbye kiss. Finally, we get characters on Main Station waving at you in the morning and at night. That'd be fun. I don't know if I don't know.
I'm actually most excited for Captain Jack waving from the balcony of Captain Jack. That's gonna be great.
I want there could be some fun meets. Yeah, there could be some fun distant.
And I mean, you know,
Like
if they
it's
put
my
like
selfie.
Alice, if they put Alice in the Planters by Teacups, then she's doing all sorts of, you know, shenanigans in there, and waving
And
at
it's
you,
there's a
and
cool
like, you know.
opportunity to use the stages as well and go on the stages and take some selfies.
So some of the things that they're planning is, for example, in the Studio Theater stage to have Marvel superheroes, and then guests will then get the chance to get on stage at Studio Theater and in the sets of, you know, the Marvel show that was obviously not used at all. And same at Mickey and the Magician. You know, guests are going to be able to go on stage, and so obviously it won't be like a big hug with Mickey or with Captain America, but I don't know, you'll take a selfie with them in the background, making like waving in the background. I don't know. Could be fun.
Well, we've seen it at Universal, haven't we, with characters, and they've been big group shots. It could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But Universal have been not afraid to put the characters in masks. It's Disney, obviously, and not doing.
I don't think that's good.
Yeah,
you know, Universal.
You're not gonna have a Raw in a mask, you know.
At least the one good thing I'll say about Universal and characters in masks, despite the fact that it's terrible, is at least they've sort of color coordinated the masks.
Yes,
like, it
they
doesn't
are,
actually look bad.
Yeah, they did a decent job. But still, like, you know, Disney, they're not going to want to have those photos in, like, people's archives and, like, trips photos and stuff. You know, you don't want to... Everyone's going to want to forget about this phase of the humanity. So I'm sure they don't really fancy having, you know, Aurora with a pink mask. Even though it could be cute, but, you know, I don't think...
It never happened.
Yeah. I don't think that's the thing. And so we're obviously going to get stickers, all the stickers, all of them. And, you know, something you pointed, Jeff, did you point that out? I don't know. Maybe you pointed out to me.
The color coding?
Yeah, the color coding is going to be fun.
I love the color coding.
So, you know, we're going to get those big giant squares of where not to stand, which... And I think we cracked the code of this idea before. So they're doing that because if you put a sticker with where to stand, everyone's going to stand on it, and people are going to just like rub their feet and shoes on it, and they're just going to become white after a week. Because those stickers, they're not good. Elliot and I were in Shake Shack, and they had stickers on the floor, and literally half of them were ripped, and they've been there for like a week. So, yeah. But yeah,
they put thought into the color coding. Like, it's actually pretty clever.
I love the design of the studios ones.
Disneyland Paris is going to be green because if you think about
that's the only thing that doesn't make sense.
No, it does kind of, because you know, like it's like the
like
green
railing.
the green fences, the green railings.
Yeah, I suppose.
And like, you know, when they did the, you know, the logo from our previous accounts, you know, Rob came up with green because it does make sense in some way, like the I
wish the ones in the lands would be a bit themed, but obviously there's not a budget just for unlimited stickers for thematic purposes, you know.
The studios are going to be like orangey red.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. And I can't believe we're getting excited about stickers for social distancing, but sure. And I know, right? What does the world come down to? And Village is going to be blue, just for no reason. And I guess for the lake blue. Okay.
Is Village blue?
I think so. Village is blue, and also Newport Bay Club is blue, and of course.
I did not spend much time reading about the Village clothing.
No, scroll. And obviously, so Sequoia Green and New York. I mean, if there's still social distancing in November, it will be red. Which I didn't actually pay attention to Cheyenne and Santa Fe, but I would assume like
they're red as well.
Red,
maybe.
Yeah.
Red, yeah. Maybe, red. So that's that, and then there's all sorts of other stickers, obviously for the doors, for the everywhere. Signs.
And lots of hand sanitizer. Woo.
Yeah, 2,500 bottles a day.
No, more than that a day, I think, isn't it? Because you have to refill them.
Well, there's 2,500 stations. But when they say stations, they mean like, you know, a bottle on the counter at a hotel, that counts as a station. So
yeah, but they go to counting attraction entrance and exits as stations too, which they will obviously have to refill.
Yeah. And there's something interesting also about, you know, masks and for cast members. So all the cast members are going to be given 50 masks to start with as starting kits, and some of the crowd-facing cast members can request a face shields, which sure.
Please, just somebody take one. Like, I want to see this.
Please, if you're a cast member, please request a face shield so we can just see like what. I must say, I saw one woman in a supermarket with one last weekend, and it was I just turned around the corner and I was kind of like, oh, okay. It was a bit, it was a bit end of the world, but sure. I mean, whatever makes people feel safe, if you want to face shields.
I got an email from a restaurant earlier in the weekend, and they were saying, well, we're going to bring you your food, but because we have to bring your food to your table, we're going to wear a face shield while we do it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's clever. Good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think it's a way around being in kind of close contacts where you're not social distancing.
But I mean, in some way, also, if you wear a face shield, I guess you're not wearing a mask, right? Or are you wearing both?
Yeah, you do.
You don't. Oh, do you?
Do you?
That's
because
what it says. Yeah.
Because if they're only wearing the face shield, then you can see their smile and faces, and actually maybe that could be better. I mean, it's weird, but anyway. So yeah, masks, and then I don't know. They're giving some of the cast members some gloves. I think. I don't know. I didn't do my homework. If you remember anything else,
it's kind of the usual stuff, right? That we're seeing basically rolled out everywhere. Like, there's nothing crazy exceptional going on.
So now it's going to be interesting in the restaurants because the buffet restaurants are going to be turned into some sort of table service temporarily, where guests will have a choice of various plates that will be brought to their tables. Did I understand that right?
Yeah, I think that's roughly.
And
it's going to be like photos, and they have to pick like option 1, option 2, option 3, option 6,
Right. Which is not going to be fun because I used to just like go to buffet and just get like all the chicken and get a ton of one thing. But anyway.
I actually, like, controversially, I hope this ends up working better because DLP has too many buffet restaurants, and I think it needs to be
quite civilized, doesn't it?
The dining plan needs to be reworked. But the only thing that worries me a little bit, and I don't want to be shady, but when you go to like Plaza Gardens, sometimes the waitress, she comes to take your order of drinks and she brings you a first round, and then to catch her to get something else is like literally.
Oh my god! Yeah,
it's impossible. It's impossible. Like they disappear in the sunsets, and
I think it's because my friend worked there, and they say they're so busy clearing plates that if they didn't have to clear plates all the time, they'd have more time to serve the guests.
So maybe that might actually work.
Yeah,
in their favor.
Because they all have. Like, if you think about it, they're all assigned an area. And if you've got to clear plates every time a plate's finished, instead of just helping a guest, that's what's taking up most of their time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm mostly worried about.
Do you not think it's in their interest to make, like, drinks are included in your price, but if they don't serve you as many drinks, it means that they don't have to give away as much drinks that you're not technically, they're making more money on the fact that you're not having as many drinks.
It's funny you say that, Patrick, because my next comment was going to be that I was worried for your unlimited drinks count with this new system.
So annoying when I go to Plaza Gardens. I'm like, I say to the waitress when we sit down, I'm like, I'm really sorry, I'm going to annoy you for so many drinks. I'm really thirsty. And she's like, okay, don't worry. And then she literally just like hovers around the table and everything goes well.
And then she like, shit, he actually meant that.
So how's that going to work with somewhere like Casey Jr.? Do you queue up to go in, and then you're in, get your foods, go out?
Oh, Casey's is kind of
Casey Corner.
Casey's Corner, because Casey Jr. doesn't have food.
Takeaway only.
Did I say Casey Jr.? Sorry.
Yeah, takeaway only. I think we saw that as. Okay. Oh, you can also eat a snack on Casey Jr. if you like. This absolutely okay.
I can do that.
And they're now going to be serving breakfast.
Well, they have the
studying
option.
Breakfast.
They have the option to serve breakfast at Casey's Corner, which really, please make it happen. We need more breakfast places. I'm tired of just like waiting for 9:30 to get like a shit muffin.
That
would
be
not that
good.
mayonnaise
Yes.
like burger thing. That's horrible.
Oh, God, no. They should make like
not that.
I
No,
feel
but
like
if they leaned into it and like did like a breakfast dog where it was like a dog with like scrambled eggs on it and like, I don't know, like
Elliot,
some
are you opening cookies
No.
Yeah, like, I feel like they could lean in and just do like a breakfast dog, like a bit like the way they do the morning
The Ronto
yeah.
wraps.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they can lean into it. And like, here's like a special hot dog, but it's only for the morning time. You know what
But
I
I
mean?
mean, you could also do like, breakfast boxes where you don't have to handle food. So you have like a guy in the back who makes only coffee, like literally nonstop without people ordering them, just like makes them and puts them there. And then you have a person at the counter. So it's not allowed.
No, everything has to be made to guest order.
Well, that's just not.
Which is part of the reason they're so slow.
Well, that's just not very effective, is it? And then you have someone in the front who's just grabbing a box of already made, that has like a muffin, fruit, and I don't know, orange juice in it, and just give you like breakfast box, and you add the coffee, and then here you go on your way. Pay contactless, and everyone should be in and out in like a minute to get breakfast. I don't understand why breakfast on Main Street is always such an ordeal to the point that I just bring a cereal bar now. Like I want to buy food in the parks, but breakfast I just can't. I'm too excited to go and play, and it's too much. So
are we talking about how they've committed to open all the food carts?
Oh yeah, food carts should be open. Okay, but I mean, do we want stuff from the food carts?
Well, I feel like it's a good option.
They've got a lot better
you can buy like drinks and things like that, so I don't have to now wait half an hour for a drink in theory.
It does make sense because if you have all the food cart opens, that allows you to have a lot more queues. So the more queues you have, the less people you have in each queue, and the more people can social distance. You also have more room.
But
to have queues.
those food carts, and also the food carts were operating with only one cast member in them anyway, so that's not going to be a problem with distancing because they all had one cast member.
Seb says the Old Mill will sell sandwiches as well. Yeah, that's true. The Old Mill, and I can't remember what else it was.
Café de la Brousse.
And Arbre Chanté.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to
Does
see
that mean they're going to get rid of the Mickey waffles, which is what everyone actually goes there for?
Well, yeah, because it's all about just pre-packaged stuff that's safe to eat and quick to do. And, like, I think for a few months, we're just going to have to give it all a pass and just be happy that we have a park that's open. Like, I think that's where we have to be.
Yeah. And there's also, there's also a ton of work that is being done backstage because they have cast restaurants, they have costuming, they have offices, they have, workshops, they have landscaping, they have all those things that we don't see, and all those places are also ready for reopening with like special measures. So it's actually probably double the work than what we see because half of it is backstage. So, that's why it also takes a lot of time and a lot of negotiating and preparations, and it's going to take a lot of training, and people will get confused, both guests and cast, I'm sure, when it reopens, but we'll get through this. Other than that, no parades, no fireworks, no outdoor shows,
or indoor shows.
It looks like Mickey and the Magician won't come back, at least right away, because they're planning to make it a full location, so I guess not.
I mean, they got rid of the cast in March, and that was the whole drama, so...
well...
And we can kind of confirm, really, that this year's Lion King and the Jungle Festival? Nope.
Yeah, but it's funny that they're completely avoiding the question. Like, I'm pretty sure the page is still up with the dates in June or something, and like they just don't want that headline, which I understand, I guess. But I mean, eventually, you just gotta, it is what it is.
But do you want the headline on the same day that the park's reopening? Park's reopening, by the way, that festival that you booked to come to, not happening. Sorry, move on.
Yeah, it's better to like anticipate, right?
Do you think will that then roll forward? The Jungle Festival, will that roll forward to next year, or
it's popular, isn't it?
It's going to be back to do its thing,
yeah, I think so. I mean,
with Frozen as well, apparently.
Oh yeah, that one. But they're also looking for like selfie spots, basically, what's it called? Boarding house. They'll use the balcony there, and I think maybe they're gonna put a few characters in some places also.
But this is the thing, right? Like I'm excited to see how this works, because this is really gonna show that the way like a lot of people, well, myself included, it's like characters are what makes the park come alive, and It's kind of what makes the magic like really kind of like different every time, because you can go on Space Mountain and you can go on Big Thunder Mountain, but like every time you meet Mickey or somebody else, it's like always a little bit different, and you always get a different memory out of it. So like I'm excited to see how this works, because if it works well, I would be kind of happy that if they kind of did meet and greets, but then if they just had like Alice running around the planters and like you could take a selfie with her, but you can't really get up that close to her or whatever, it would kind of really like satisfy a lot of demands that like character people have, in the fact that at least the characters would be there, and it's not like
it brings some atmosphere to the place as well. It brings it alive, doesn't it?
You don't automatically have to always meet the character, but if the character's out, and can like they do it in Disneyland, and I know we always say that in Disneyland it's because guests are so blasé because they've seen characters so many times they really don't care anymore. But like the way like that characters can kind of move about and like create a bit of the story, like So because I'm excited to see. I'm hoping that they'll realize that it's not as complicated to do as.
They're gonna have to be fairly pop up, aren't they?
Yeah,
pop up here and there because they can't program it out. Otherwise, crowds will gather. So
exactly. I mean, shops are also being, changed. They're actually removing some of the furniture, and there's going to be one entrance and one exit. So people are going to have to pay attention to the signs. Cast members are going to have to be there to be like, no, you can't enter here. This is the exit only. It's going to be a lot of work, I think, for everyone. They're going to remove some registers. They're going to, put some... plastic shields on the registers, so that is going to be a look, it's going to be a look. And also when it comes to guest flow, I also saw this right now, they might be allowed to use megaphones, which which is just magical, to have a cast members use a megaphone in the middle of Main Street, be like, move out of the way. But it's all for safety, so I guess it's okay.
And it's not going to last forever as well, right?
No, definitely not. But yeah. So that's
I'm just reading through. I'm reading through like they put the typical steps a class member takes on a day, and they had to put some. I go for a smoke break on there.
They put go for a smoke.
Only in Paris, yeah.
Yeah. And also inside the attractions, like in Pirates, they're going to close some rows on boats. In Star Tours, they're going to close some seats, some rows. And it's also going to be a lot of math for the cast members to see how many guests are together, how many guests are in the party, and then assign them to a specific row, and then check that the guests go to the right row. Because, we all kind of like, we get told to go to a row, but, if you want to go with different friends or whatever, you just kind of, switch over. Like, that's not going to be able to happen anymore.
Should we mention that you're going to have to get Liberty out and ready?
It's not entirely clear, is it? I don't know. We don't know.
It's kind of clear. I think it does mention Liberty.
Yeah, but for some things, I don't know if it's going to be just everything.
Yeah, so they mention it explicitly for reserving food times, I think.
Yeah.
So you'll have to reserve, well, you won't have to, but you'll be encouraged to reserve your quick service eating time.
Yeah. And
if you don't reserve, then you will only be allowed into the restaurant if there just happens to be some tables.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Interesting. But, we'll see. Also, entrance into the park, obviously under the Disneyland Hotel and in front of the Walt Disney Studio gates is going to be those giant green barriers with all the stickers on the floor, and everyone is going to everyone is going to have to just stay 2 meters away. So, 1 meter away. Wait, France is 1 meter.
Yeah.
Lots of work to be done, but I think also people are quite used to it. I know in the UK, from the start, when you go to the supermarket, everyone's been used to it for 3 months to just those queues.
We're used to it in the UK.
It's really calm, isn't it? Yeah, it's a really calm way of doing it.
Yeah, at least for now, I've never had any issue going to the stores, and I think everyone understands that it's for everyone's health and safety. Like, no one's gonna go and criticize and say I don't want to do it. I mean, some people do on Twitter, but I think in the queues, like, everyone is pretty respectful. So it's also going to be interesting with the kids, because, you know, kids, they don't necessarily, if they're young, they don't necessarily understand why, you know, and they're going to be excited to be at Disney. So that's also going to be something to take in consideration. Like, if you have, like, some kid running towards you, like, what do you do? You know, but yeah. So that's the...
Wear face masks.
Yeah, wear masks. Yeah, of course. So masks for everyone.
Quite interestingly, DLP is over 9, whereas I think all the other parks are a bit younger than that.
Yeah. I think Belle tweeted, like, you know, if you don't want your kids to wear masks, book a trip to Disneyland Paris. But yeah, so...
Which is interesting, because last time I checked, kids can still spread the virus, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just tough to control the kids. They don't really want, you know.
I think it's just going to be a common sense approach, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and you know, toilets, also buses, you know, everything is going to get it. You know, the security lines outside, everything is going to be set up, and I feel like, you know, Disney is just not kidding around. And whether it is Paris or any of the other parks, you know, we're going to see the same type of measures that we've seen in Shanghai, that we're going to see in Hong Kong next week, and probably Disney World and everywhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just think that when the parks reopen, people have to kind of expect it to be different, and it's going to be different for a while. And it's not going to be forever. It will go back.
Yeah. Burnix one in the chat asked if you have a reservation for a hotel that's not going to be open when the park opens, I guess Disneyland Paris will be in touch. Once the date is announced, I'm sure they will contact anyone who's not booked at a particular open hotel. Will be contacted and probably move there.
Yeah, so I had a booking for Walt Disney World, and Disney were in touch, I think, like 2 or 3 days afterwards, just saying, here's the new procedures.
Yeah. So I think
this is what we're doing.
If you booked at like Cheyenne, Santa Fe, or some of the other hotels that are not going to be open, then for the first week at least, they'll probably move you to one that is open. And chances are it will be an upgrade, so could be nice.
Well, some of the facilities won't be open.
I was saying, like, you know, I mean, if you plan on going, and you want to, you know, take a bet on the first week of reopening, you could book a room at Santa Fe, and chances are you will be upgraded to a much nicer hotel. So that could be a good deal for you. But do so at your own risk. Please don't come back and complain to us. But I think, you know, if they just consolidate everyone into one hotel, then if you book somewhere cheaper, then you'll get a nice upgrade. So we just Bernix has a reservation for Santa Fe in September. I'm pretty sure. I feel like Santa Fe will be open in September. I think it's only for the first like couple weeks, right? It's all the hotels are going to reopen, I think, by the end of July, August, or something.
It'll be week by week, won't it? They'll just keep adding numbers so you can go into the park, and
maybe
slowly.
Yeah. As the park gets capacity, then we'll get more hotels. Well, exciting times. We still don't have a date.
Hong Kong does, though.
But Hong Kong did just last night while we were all sleeping. Thank you, Hong Kong.
Construction. Oh, I've got some hot news. Construction officially resumes on the Walt Disney Studios expansion from June 29th.
Oh,
okay.
Where is this information from? I mean, is it public? Is it public?
Well, yeah.
No.
It is
okay.
public. It is public. But yeah, they're not liked, you know.
Is it from the union? Anyway, we'll talk to you in a break.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Elliot.
Okay.
So yeah, Hong Kong reopens really quickly. So Monday, right? Is it next Monday?
No, it's this week.
It's Thursday, right? 18th.
Yeah, it's this week. Oh God, it's in 3 days.
Yeah.
I guess that's a strategy. You know, Disney World is telling us early June for mid-July, but Hong Kong is like
it just takes them like 20 minutes to get there on the metro, so they don't really need the notice, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
Because people for like DLP and Disney World fly in, you know.
I guess, but I mean, it's starting to cut in close for Disneyland Paris now, and
it is.
We're still waiting. But I think there's one more meeting with the unions, and then all will be really revealed. So yeah. So who's next? To announce, Disneyland Paris is missing, and then Tokyo, right? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else has announced.
Yeah. Not without controversy in California.
Right. I mean, the US in general are reopening and also having their worst numbers, especially in Florida and also in California, and some peaks and all sorts of crazy numbers. So it's really interesting. But you know, the world must go on, I guess. Disney can't just stay closed forever, and they've chosen to carefully reopen. So we'll see. We will see. All right. Is there? Oh, there's a couple more news.
Run and PhotoPass.
Yeah. Well, Run Disney got cancelled. We all kind of expected it, but I mean,
I know.
It's just, I think it's like half health reasons and half economic reasons. There's no way.
And I think they had a good year planned as well. It's going to be like the 5th anniversary, and I think it's best that goes off on its full capacity next year than a limited offering that was just about able to run this year with like not many people going anyway.
Yeah.
It's definitely the right thing, yeah. And they're looking after people. Castle to Chateau gets rolled over, and they thought it through, so that was good.
Yeah, and the PhotoPass website is back. To Jeff's
sort of.
But I mean, it was kind of like your thing, so now you must be really happy that it's sort of back.
Well, not really, because I can't get access to my photos.
But it's really weird
because
a lot of people
before the New Year.
Right, but it was supposed to be this week. Have you tried today?
No.
Because originally they said they would come back today on Monday, and then they somehow opened the website last week, and half the photos were there, 2020 were there, but not 2019. But yeah, anyway. So if you have a PhotoPass, go to the new PhotoPass website.
Yeah, it says in big red letters, important. If your photos are only from 2019, please do not create your account at this time.
Wow. Okay, why not? PhotoPass taken in-house but run by Kodak, says Ashia. Well, it's unclear. It's unclear if it's ran by Kodak or if Kodak is just, because it's like Kodak Moments, if Kodak is maybe just a company that produces the mugs and t-shirts you can buy through the website. Because in US, I think it's also run by Kodak Moments, maybe. I don't know. But please integrate it into the app. That would be really nice. But I'm not holding my breath for that. And the last piece of news that just happened today is that our lovely ambassadors, Joe and Joanna, have a new Instagram accounts. It is DLP Ambassador with no S. If you're wondering why there's no S, because it's the DLP Ambassador program. Because that was my first question. You're missing an S. No, it's on purpose. And they're going to post all their lovely adventures on there, and I'm sure it will be just as fun as the California accounts, who's just a riot. Especially when
I love that. It's so much fun.
When they released Disney Park Wishables. Literally, I just can't wait.
Disney Park Wishables!
Disney Park Wishables! Yeah, they're really fun. And Disney World also, they're both lovely. I think they're a bit more traditional, but also very sweet and very fun. I think all the Disney parks have a really, really amazing team of ambassador currently, and I really do hope that they get extended for one more year because they deserve it. They got like 4 months ripped out of their mandates, and it's just not fair. And also even into going like July and August, they're not going to get the full experience. They're not going to get to go and really talk to the guest and hug the guest and help the guest and do all those things. So I feel like it's just fair to just give them another year. So come on, Disney. Time to act.
There's one more news.
Do you have more news?
Gaumont is opening on Monday.
Who is?
Yes. The cinema, Gaumont.
Oh yeah, Gaumont. Yes, the cinema. So that's the big question though. Gaumont Cinema is opening at Disney Village. Are they gonna open more of Disney Village? Is World of Disney just gonna be shut, or are they gonna open World of Disney? I actually don't know. So will be interesting to see.
Starbucks.
Starbucks. Yeah, but Starbucks is
Right,
kind of
I
like
suppose-
more inside, so I feel like
I suppose it's like a ripple effect. If you let Gaumont open, everyone else is paying for their rent, so why shouldn't they be allowed to open too? You know, like Olive Sandwich and Starbucks. That's
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Five Guys.
because they're
The
all
good
allowed
thing-
to open. They're in green zone.
The good
now.
thing with Gaumont is that whilst the entrance is actually inside the security cordon, the exit is outside.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so they might be able to just go through the back.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, you can control people going in. Like,
We
you can
weren't
walk
saying
into
that
the
you're supposed to
cinema.
sneak in the cinema from the back.
No, like,
Actually, there's like very easy, like you can't do it. There's gates and things that only go open one way and things like that, so you can't do that.
No.
But you can funnel people through into the cinema entrance, and the exit is outside the security cordon. So if you are only opening that little passageway, it would actually work.
Huh. Yeah, it could work.
but
I
then
mean,
they have to get security back.
I guess we'll see. What happens next week. It's just a lot of work. They have to prepare if they're gonna open some stores and stuff. They have to start preparing this week because it takes a while to get ready. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye out, and we've been going for a while, so we should probably take a break. When we
Take
come
a
back,
break.
we'll play the Disney Quiz with Patrick, the game master, and the music today. Is Richie now here? Richie was going to be here.
No.
Oh. He picked that song. I'm like, wait, what? It's so today the song choices are going to be from Hong Kong Disneyland, since we learned that they're reopening. And the first one that we're going to play is actually the intro to the Hong Kong version of Paint the Night that Richie sent. And it's really interesting because I'm so used to the American soundtrack that it's just like weird. It's the same, but not really. So, anyways, we'll be right back in a couple of minutes with the Disney Quiz. See you in a bit. Wait, maybe I have to click the music. I don't know. There you go. See you in a bit. welcome back to the DLP Report Podcast. I'm totally obsessed with this remix. I know you guys can hear it on the show.
I know it.
You know it's good, right? I had no idea. I felt like it was the same music with Owl City as they had on in US parks, but it's not. They have like an actual Paint the Nights song.
Yeah.
Is it different?
Yeah, it's super different. Anyways, I'll send you the file, Elliot.
Okay.
Anyways,
Not like the main parade. The main parade is the same, but there's like stops and things.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay, because I had the main parade, and then I was kind of confused that it was something else. But I'm glad I found it.
No, so the main parade is pretty much the same, but obviously it's in Cantonese as well.
Ah, right. Yes, that I knew. That I had before because it launched over there, so I had that soundtrack. And then when Disneyland opened, then I had the American one. Anyways, you know what this music means. It's time for the Disney quiz with the quizmaster, Patrick.
Well, we don't know what the music means. We can't hear it.
We never done it.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We've covered this in so many episodes. I'm sorry you can't hear the music.
Is this where we pick a bone with Ben?
It's due to technical limitations.
Is it really cheesy quiz show music?
No, it is.
Oh my
it is
gosh,
from.
it should be.
It
Like
is
The
from
Price is
Tron.
Right.
Yeah.
It is from Tron the movie.
Sorry.
And which we watched with Patrick a few weeks ago, actually.
It's pretty
Patrick
fun. I
here?
like
Oh,
that.
by the way,
Moana.
well, we watched Moana, and then we also watched Tron, and we also watched The Three Caballeros. And let me tell you, Patrick, what do you think about The Three Caballeros?
I really wouldn't want to watch it if I had taken illicit substances because it's a bit crazy. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but it was like a bit weird.
It is the
Have
weirdest
you watched
movie.
Saludos Amigos yet?
No.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
No.
you gotta do that one. That's good too.
Oh. But it's kind of like a very interesting movie. I feel like that's like a whole topic. But like Three Caballeros, it's just like this. It's like a dance performance. I mean, they try to tell you a story. It's a combination of like cliches that are just like really just like crazy. But it's fun. It's fun. You kind of like end up like bopping around and stuff. But at some point you're like, what the hell did I just watch? Like, what was this?
Donald just needs to calm down. Like anyone that's a woman and has a pulse, he's like interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calm down. Daisy has your credit card, so you know.
It's kind of like, yeah,
the
is
more
Daisy
you-
at home with Minnie shopping? Like, I need to know more about that situation. Like, is he just traveling the world by himself? And yeah, he's definitely like, whistling at girls on the beach. Anyway, very interesting. A different era of Disney animation and, PR. Patrick, is it a Hong Kong quiz today?
It is a Hong Kong quiz, yes. But
I love a Hong Kong quiz.
Ben, did you know about this already?
it's so
May
easy.
or may not.
You can't dictate the theme. That's cheating.
Why? We're talking about Hong Kong today. This is Hong Kong Disneyland Day.
Cheating.
Fine. I don't know the
You
questions.
can't give
or
yourself an advantage.
I don't know the questions or the answers.
But you could have revised.
Fine. I didn't.
Don't worry.
I barely had time
Don't
to
worry,
put all the
Jack.
music together.
No, don't worry.
I'm just
Jeff.
exposing his lie.
He doesn't have time to know how to play the game, so he won't even be able to answer that.
I know. I'm not gonna say my name, and then you're gonna be like, I don't care.
Just go-
It's not your
okay.
turn. All right. Let's
Right.
go.
Okay. I promise, cause it's a bit out there. I didn't make it too hard, so I'm sorry if it's super easy. Anyway, okay.
Someone got a text.
Question number. Yeah, sorry, that was me. Hang on, let me just come up. Question number 1. What was the opening date of Hong Kong Disneyland?
Elliot.
Darren.
Elliot.
I know this because Ben was meant to be there. The 12th of September 2005.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, because it's 15th anniversary this year.
You would think that I would know this,
Why?
I just have a...
given I was gonna travel there on that date. But
Are you still going?
well, I'm supposed to go in October, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. Who is the managing director of Hong Kong Disneyland?
Elliot. Stephanie Young.
Correct.
I love Disney business people.
Question number 3. A shop.
Do you love all of them?
Yeah, they're queens.
Okay.
A shop on Hong Kong Disneyland's Main Street, USA, is named after an often celebrated Imagineer. What is the full name of the shop?
Oh, the full name. Oh, I know who it is, but I don't know the name.
Oh.
Well, the second part, name of the shop. The first part, obviously.
Anyone?
Isn't it a new shop?
No.
David.
David.
Marty's General Store.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow, well done.
It's that simple.
It is a new thing, right? It's just like past month.
Ben, we were
It's
literally
quite
talking about it in a chat on Saturday morning.
Okay. What is the full name of the soon-to-be inaugurated Hong Kong Disneyland Castle?
Ben.
Ben.
No, it's not called Ben.
It is the Castle of Magical Dreams.
Correct.
Yeah.
I hate that name.
It's weird because like it's named after all the princesses. You would think they would like say it's the castle of the princess stories or something. Like something related to that. Like what are Magical Dreams is a bit vague. But sure.
I suppose, but like Enchanted Storybook Castle has already been taken, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Which feature of nature can be seen behind Hong Kong Disneyland's castle?
Elliot. Mountains.
Correct. See how I told it was super easy. Hong Kong
There was
Disney...
several answers for this one. You could say trees or.
Ben, just don't even start. Hong Kong Disneyland made Disney Parks history on January 11th, 2017. Why?
Elliot.
Elliot.
The first Marvel attraction in a theme park.
Correct.
We're gonna win.
Elliot, did you pay for the answers?
I love Hong Kong Disneyland, and I really want to go.
Okay.
Which classic Disney Parks attraction opened in 2016 before close? Oh, sorry. Let me start again. Which classic Disney Parks attraction opened in 2006 before closing 10 years later in 2016 to make way for a future expansion which is yet to be realized?
Elliot.
Autopia. Correct.
Close for Frozen?
No, it closed for this
Marvel
expansion and that has never come yet. And I've actually seen recently, not too long ago, I've seen like pictures. It's like behind walls and whatever, but like the cars are still there and everything. It's like everything is still there.
Oh, weird. Are they still getting that expansion? What's going on now?
But no, it's like remember the e-ticket that they were going to get, and then
yeah.
Going to be the Tower of Terror reteamed to Avengers, or is it not going to be the big e-ticket that California is getting? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Which celebrated composer composed the score for Mystic Manor?
Jeff.
Danny Elfman.
Correct.
Oh, we saw that this morning.
Yeah, I was like...
Jeff is good at composers.
And a follow-up question. In what year did Mystic Manor open?
Oh, David.
Oh, we had this question a couple of weeks ago.
2013?
Nope.
Oh, shit. I set that question.
Oh, is it in your quiz we had that question?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're all blurring into one.
I hope
26.
I hope I'm right now.
2016?
No. Hang on, I'm going to check if I'm right. Stop guessing, because you're guessing way too late for what I have. Sorry, hang on.
Isn't it 2013?
Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Sorry, I got the wrong answer. Sorry.
David was right.
So David get the point.
Oh,
What
sorry.
answer did you have, Patrick?
Oh, I had when it was announced, not when I opened it. Sorry. There you go.
That's a more niche question. You should have done that.
Yeah,
No,
that's a niche one.
Sorry.
By the way, welcome Viv.
2009.
Hey.
Viv has joined us.
Wow.
Sorry, that was my mistake. I'm sorry. Lord Henry Mystic belongs to which fictitious organization?
Jeff?
Yep.
Is it the Explorers Club or the
No.
Explorers Institute or something like that? I don't know.
I thought it was the Explorers Club.
I thought this one was going to be quite easy.
I think if you haven't like been on the attraction, it's quite.
Well, there was a reference to it in Disneyland Paris, so.
Oh.
Yeah, there is, but I still don't know.
Colonel
Anyone?
Happy's Pizza Outpost.
No.
Yeah. Does everyone give up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Society of Explorers and Adventurers. C.
And what is the reference in Paris?
By Explorers Club, there's a crate, and on it has the C logo.
And so was the crate there before they even created the attraction?
No, C was created for Tokyo Disney Sea because Henry Hightower.
Oh, Hightower, yeah.
He was the first person, and then after that they had Henry Mystic, and then after that they had a girl that joined her. She was like, I think you can see her in like in parts of the Jungle Cruise queue, in Hong Kong, or I don't know, but yeah. Okay.
Big organization.
Yeah. Hong Kong Disneyland's Fantasyland contains the only eatery themed to which 1996 Disney movie?
Oh boy.
Elliot?
What is 96?
Elliot.
Sleeping Beauty? Oh, 96.
1996. 1996.
Not 69. Or earlier.
What was 96?
Yeah, what was 96? Silence.
Is it Hunchback of Notre Dame?
No, Hunchback was 97. Jet? Was it Pocahontas?
No, it was Hunchback of Notre Dame. Did I get that wrong?
Oh.
Yeah, because 96, remember that was the fifth. No, well, 97
No,
was the
no,
fifth
no.
anniversary in Paris, so 96 is probably the movie probably came out Christmas
yeah,
96.
you're right.
It came
So
out
that-
in America.
so that way we had-
and then
Yeah, so
27th of November 1996 is when it came out.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we had it the
that.
next year as part of the anniversary because back then the movies used to like be spread out different dates. Like some of the Disney
staggered.
movies
Yeah.
would come out like for
I'll give somebody a point if they can tell me what the name of the restaurant is.
Oh, I just googled it, so I can't answer this anymore.
Okay.
You honest person, Jack.
yeah.
Well, as soon as I heard there was a Hunchback restaurant, I was like, well, I need to find out about this.
Yeah.
No? Nobody?
No.
It's Clopan's Festival of Foods. Yeah, it's like a stand. It's like a kind of like a more elaborate kiosk, but there is seating area and they have like lights and the trees and stuff.
Yeah, it's super French food as well. Wow.
Yeah, like where would you want to get French food ever?
Well, I was joking. It's noodles and woks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kung Pao chicken
so
prawn
good.
with rice combo.
Which friend of Duffy made their worldwide debut at Hong Kong Disneyland?
David.
I think it was David, was it?
Was it
Yeah.
Cookie, the little dog thing?
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
Oh yeah. She got a new name now. She's like
It's like
Cookie Ann.
Yeah.
she's like
Yeah.
She's Ms. Cookie now.
Oh, really?
No, she's Cookie.
Yeah, because they all have to have like double-barreled names now,
Yeah.
except
Cookie
Duffy.
Ann, something.
Duffy's allowed to be the special.
Yeah,
What's
I've
Olu?
Olumel, but I've only
Olumel,
realized
yeah.
lately. I've only realized lately that his name is Olumel. I just always knew him as
No, it's new. Yeah, so they're adding it. So the new obsession is having double-barreled names for these characters.
So point now.
Okay, Asia, you do you, boo. And the next question: which of Hong Kong Disneyland's 3 hotels is the most recent?
Elliot.
Elliot,
The Explorer's Lodge.
correct. There are only 2 questions left, and Elliot has already won. So yeah.
Well, let's
Elliot
finish the
needs
quiz
to not
anyway.
take part. Like, can we just have some
Keep
fun?
going.
In order to cut costs, which mode of transportation was not included in Main Street USA?
I don't know that.
David's?
Yep, David.
Was it the horse-drawn cart?
Yeah, tram or trolley, I'll accept. Correct.
Oh, that's sad.
And the last question. Hong Kong Disneyland has 3 trains, each named in honor of a deceased Disney executive. There is the Walter E. Disney, the Roy O. Disney, and which other?
Is it Frank Wells?
You have to say your name first, honey.
Oh, Elliot.
Thank you, Elliot.
Frank Wells.
Yes, it's correct. There you go.
I wonder if Chapek will get one.
No. No, they'll probably cut that project before they get to it. So.
The Rafalski.
That would be so ironic.
Then and Jeff got 1, David got 4, and our winner today with like 6 or 7 is Elliot. Congratulations, Elliot.
I
Yes,
won
Elliot.
finally.
You have won.
Well done, Elliot.
You have won the right to choose the next song,
Which you already chose earlier.
which you already chose earlier.
So
Hey,
my
you know,
choice is the original version of Happily Ever After, which Ben did not know came from Hong Kong Disneyland until today.
did you guys know that? Because I did not. And also, they sing it live.
Yeah. There's another
Yeah.
version as well with like this like Chinese or Hong Kong pop star. I think she was on The Voice and she did did the song for it. It was great.
How did I not even know this?
There's a cool video because she's running around the parks with all the characters and having a good day. It's cool.
I really don't know that much about Hong Kong. Like, that's what I've learned today.
It's such a lovely little park. Really, it deserves more
Right.
attention. And now it's getting a new castle, and it's getting Frozen, and it's getting Avengers, and you know. So
but they spend so much money on it. Where's this money DLP
Yeah.
never gets?
Well, it's because Hong Kong was like in serious doo-doo.
Yeah.
They screw Hong Kong over long ago. It's a bit like all these like things like Walt Disney Studios, DCA, and Hong Kong Disneyland. Yeah, they made them for cheap at the time, but it's probably costing them even more now to fix all the crap than if they just had a bit of investment in it in the start and try to kind of just like prod it along instead of having to do massive expansions. Because like when you think about Hong Kong, this is like Hong Kong's 3rd expansion in less than 15 years. So like they've been. They really screwed the pooch on that one. Like, so I like how they are giving stuff to Hong Kong, and I think the one thing I love about Hong Kong is that they really, because obviously the audience is kind of more local. They really just pander to what people like, and that's kind of a nice thing, because like they're gonna open back, and that's like a thing that I was thinking about Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris is very much what they can do, whereas I feel like places like Hong Kong and even Shanghai, they're kind of like, oh yeah, but like we've all these cool new merch and new pieces of like food and stuff like that. I like the way that they're still trying to offer things to people, whereas here, like Jeff said earlier, it's basically we're just going to very much accept that we're happy to have a park for a while. Whereas I feel like in the Hong Kong, they're kind of like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's listen to. So it's the Wondrous Book. The soundtrack is 27 minutes, but I will cut it after the opening song. Don't worry. So we'll be back in just a few minutes after Happily Ever After, Hong Kong Disneyland Wondrous Book version. Yeah. Okay. See you in a bit.
Draw you in, let the wonder take hold. Ready to begin, your story waits to be told. Better when you don't know where it's going. Dive in with your heart wide open. The story comes to life when we turn the page. A new world in every chapter. When we look inside, we find our way, shining brighter together. It's just beginning. Feel your heart beat faster. Reach out and find your happily ever after. Find your happily ever after. Find your happily ever after. 擘大眼睇清楚啊，高飛，本魔法故事書應該喺呢度嘅。
米奇，
魔法故事書啊！你諗下裏邊有幾多精彩嘅歷險旅程啊！奇異嘅地方，野生嘅猛獸，仲有英勇嘅事蹟。我哋打開佢咯。
唔好啊，米奇！如果裏邊有啲好危險嘅嘢，咁點算啊？
會咩？唔會嘅，望一眼冇事嘅。 Hello， 我係小白啊，我好中意攬住人噶。哎呦，
睇下你做咗啲乜嘢，都叫咗你唔好打開本書噶咯。
佢做咗啲咩啊？係咪唔好嘅嘢啊？我諗係好嘢嚟嘅，因為我覺得有啲唔同咗啊！呢種感覺係咪就係夏天啊？梗係唔係夏天啦！你要即刻。
Alright, so now all we have is character voices on the soundtrack, so so we just come back to the air. Oh, there's like little birds somewhere. Who has little birds?
It's me again.
Oh, it's yeah. It's always you.
It's Viz Cleaners again.
Yeah. If only.
The little Dutch birds. Oh wait, are you in France or in
French.
Netherlands? Oh, they're French birds. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they came.
Flew with you, yeah.
So last week, 2 weeks ago, we had a Space Mountain special, and we had an interview of Tim Delaney lined up that Darren found on a cassette tape. Yeah, I know, right? Somewhere in his
prompt you, yeah.
yeah, in his archives, and was kind enough to sort of digitalize it with a cassette player, which you found somewhere. Are you neighbors?
From my neighbour. Yes, this is from a press tape from the opening of Space Mountain, and the interviews are on there.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. So for the next break, we can play that because we forgot last week. So should we go straight into the questions?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Eduardo has exams tomorrow.
Good luck, Eduardo.
So he can't listen. But I think he also gave us some questions, no? I feel like I've seen that somewhere.
He did. Loads of questions.
Yep. I can't find them. Can you find them?
This is I've got a fun one. Right, so if you could bring a Fox IP to the park, which one is it and how would you incorporate it?
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm out. I don't know.
I need to
I don't know
think of
either.
some Fox IPs.
I mean,
I feel like...
isn't like Pandora a Fox IP?
Yeah.
Oh,
As
Die
in-
Hard.
I mean, The Simpsons. I know Universal has it, but technically, could they do that?
I think The Greatest Showman would be quite fun.
Ooh.
It would be
It's like-
cool.
It's relatively family friendly, and the soundtrack's done really well around the world.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be a
think
great
it-
theater show, like a great immersive theater show.
Yeah.
A sing along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the Frozen sing along, but the
The
Greatest
Frozen
Showman
sing-along.
version of it.
But
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, it's gonna have to happen somewhere. Something's gonna pop up somewhere.
I mean, the obvious one's X-Men, right?
Yeah, very
Jojo
true.
Rabbit.
But how do you work X-Men now that they have like Marvel Lands and stuff? Like, it's kind of like, I feel like the Marvel Lands are very much oriented Avengers.
Yeah, so Disney
Yeah.
still have the rights to do whatever they want with X-Men.
Yeah.
They always did with the comics.
I feel like maybe we might see like Home Alone in the Christmas nighttime show somewhere, like at Hollywood Studios or something.
Oh,
maybe.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Seb is saying Home Alone, the ride.
Yeah.
Oh,
love
that's
that.
good. Good
Could
one.
you imagine that? Oh.
That'd be
like that.
fun. I mean, I would vote for Ratatouille to be rethemed to Home Alone the ride when you have like cans of paints like flying at your face as you like zip through.
So good.
Zip through in like a wireless vehicle.
Can I just say, like, that film, like, no matter how many times you watch it, it is still so funny.
Right.
Yeah. I should rewatch it. I feel like it's kind of like a Christmas movie. Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, yeah.
Oh.
You know, Christmas in June.
Yeah.
Why not?
Christmas in July.
Well,
There's
there
a
you go.
really fascinating. On Netflix. There's something called the films that made us, I think, or the movies that made us. And there's one about Home Alone. And if you've never watched it, it's really fascinating to know how Home Alone was made. Like, it is such a crazy story that it's so worth watching.
Oh, so actually no. So there's Percy Jackson. They're remaking that for Disney Plus. So I could see those characters coming into the park.
No,
I
thank
like
you.
Percy Jackson. Then there's okay, maybe not Alvin and the Chipmunks. Maybe that ship sailed.
Kun says Ice Age, but is Ice Age part of
No,
Fox?
DreamWorks, I think.
No, it's Blue Sky.
Blue
with,
Sky.
yeah.
I mean,
But
the obvious.
Well, anything that
an
isn't
Ice Age
Fox.
attraction in France. Futuroscope has an Ice Age attraction.
It's
Well,
always kind of
Anastasia.
interesting. Like when you buy a franchise, like do you technically have the right to tell like
No.
other theme park to rip it out of their parks?
No, sadly not. Or there would be no Marvel Land at Universal Orlando.
When we
They
get
also
Princess Anastasia.
Oh, that would be
Oh,
Oh, don't start
but-
that one.
no. Night at the Museum as well. They have, which is more
Alvin and the
child-friendly.
Chipmunks.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
No.
Yeah.
Ice Age.
To be fair though, like Bob Iger was asked the question at one of the shareholder meetings, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we really don't think there's many opportunities for our parks with Fox."
Yeah, I mean-
let's go. Love Victor. I'll take a Love Victor meet and greet.
For all different reasons, Elliot. All right. Well.
I think the conclusion of this is that there's not many Fox IPs, unfortunately.
Yeah, and also the thing is, like, the Fox IPs are not really great quality, or like they're
And
nothing.
they're not really theme park. They're not franchises.
Yeah.
They're movies.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
think that's a big difference between Fox and Disney, where Fox make films because this is a film and this is a story that Fox thought should be told, and I don't think you have the same thing really.
Yeah. Yeah, and
you
also,
can't
I mean,
you can't make a film out of an attraction out of Jojo Rabbit or what's the other one that I was thinking of? The one with George Clooney and the I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway,
When they were in space.
no, it's based in Hawaii. You've got George Clooney. The mother died, and he's raising the kids. I forgot what it's called though. It's a good film.
Spoiler alert.
Well,
Right.
that's like the plot. It's like the beginning is the mother is dead. She doesn't die in the film. Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm now really curious what it is now. Oh my goodness. Sorry.
So we have a question from Maddie. Maddie DM. Hey Maddie. He's listening. Which land in Disneyland Park do you feel deserves a new attraction expansion, and what attraction type would you like to see brought to the park? So I'm gonna come back again with my
Say
Moana,
Adventureland.
my Moana
Yeah.
Splash Mountain between Pirates and Indiana Jones with a tiki bar. But what else could they do?
I really think Fantasyland needs something new because there wasn't anything from the Renaissance in Fantasyland or anything after. Like I would love, but so where Mickey and the Magician is now, so I would love Storybook Land to continue on that piece of unpatched land and have
mean Meet
Beauty and the Beast yeah, so behind Meet Mickey, behind the station where Storybook Land continues, where it stops, there's an expansion pad there. And I would love that to be like a Beauty and the Beast mini land with the attraction from Tokyo. I think that would work really well. But yeah, I just think there's loads of these Disney animation stories, like or if there's to be a Tangled, there's just something new in Fantasyland from Disney animation today, because Snow White and Pinocchio the Classics, but there's literally nothing attraction-wise from the Renaissance at DLP or after that.
Tangled would be good, and I think every land needs something. To be honest, they all need it. What about Tokyo Disneyland version of Sora in Discoveryland? That could work.
Steampunk themes. That would be quite fun.
do we not want Tron?
No.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I was actually listening to a podcast earlier on today, and they were talking about Tron, and they were saying that, I mean, Patrick, maybe you can say whether this is rubbish or not. The Tron is ridiculously high. Like, it's a very tall building.
But
and it sort of ruins the sightlines.
But there would be room for, that road that goes from Videopolis to Fantasyland? Like, back there, you could build a new...
No way it would fit there.
Yeah, you take all the way onto backstage.
It's got quite a big footprint there.
There's no chance I've been
even
there.
behind Star Tours, there's a ton of room.
No, there's not.
There's no room.
Absolutely not.
Like where the Pizza Planet was.
No, there's no space. Because there's a cast member parking areas behind that.
I know,
like behind Discoveryland Theater. There's literally no space.
Well, you can move the cast members. They don't need to park.
There's already
Take the bus.
No, because especially now with coronavirus, they're like encouraging people to come by car, so they need more space than ever when it comes to like cast member parking.
The only space they would have would be behind Space Mountain. But could you imagine Tron behind Space? This wouldn't be a pretty sight.
No, there's no space. Well, I mean, there's a little.
Yeah, there is.
But not enough.
It's
for,
lit.
like...
I mean, technically, Rivers of the Far West could have attractions all around it. If you just have a path that goes around, like link Phantom Manor to like the Frontierland Theater, and you could have attractions on that crest.
Nope, that would involve getting rid of the gazers. That's not happening.
That would
That would mean having to get rid of the gazers.
Yeah, but they're not they're never on.
Yeah, they are.
I'm looking at a flyover now, and the Walt Disney Studios Park scuppers any chance of any attractions around Rivers of the Far West.
Yeah, true.
There is zero room.
Right, well, with the expansion,
Directly behind
what?
Phantom Manor is Ratatouille. Like,
they can. I mean, that's a little. I mean, not well. So okay.
Well, imaginations, but
Yeah, but you know what? They could. That with the run as well. You run past the stalls for the Wild West show horses, like. Yeah. They could move those up to like somewhere else and create space.
Yeah, I mean, they could always move things around. Look at how they fit Ratatouille into like that tiny footprint by like basically theming the costuming building and the former costuming building into the attraction. And there's like offices on Place de Remy and stuff. It's just weird. They managed to just like put things in weird places if they really want to. But I mean, sadly, just in general, I feel like Walt Disney Studios is still going to be the priority until like 2030 or something. So I don't know. They have to finish all the lands, all 3 of them, and then we'll see if we can get something else. But yeah, tough days for Disneyland Park. All right, Elliot.
Tough 25 years.
Tough 25 years. Yeah, I mean, the only thing is like
Today was supposed to be the reopening of Hotel New York, so I mean,
where's
the time gone?
Well,
True. The next question comes from the lovely Ash, asking, the mishaps of Force IP are often discussed on the show. Hello, Space Mountain. But to turn this on its head a bit, what do you think is a great piece of original Imagineering that is still present in DLP?
Oh my gosh, there's so much.
Rivers of the Far West.
Yeah, I think
all of Frontierland.
Thunder Mesa.
The dragon under the castle. Is that
original? Yes.
Dragon, yeah.
See, you can't even say Nautilus because that's technically IP.
Yeah, I mean, Tram Tour. Wait, no.
It doesn't exist anymore.
I know, right?
Oh, Adventure Isle. Adventure Isle is still.
Oh yeah,
Adventure Isle
I
is
like
great,
Adventure Isle.
yeah. You know what I really like is I like the concept of Fantasyland and how it represents all those countries in Europe, and the architecture is linked to is linked to the stories, but it's also linked to Europe. But I mean, there's so many details and such a big mix of European culture and Disney stories, all while integrating classic attractions like Small World and Dumbo and all those things.
I would love if in Fantasyland each attraction was staffed by the country. Like Peter Pan had British people, Pinocchio had German. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah.
But
never gonna happen. But it's cute.
I was gonna say good luck with that.
But it's funny because there was like I don't know, Diversity Day or something at some point last month, and Disneyland Paris released this graphic, and they were like, look, we're such a diverse company and blah blah blah, and it turns out really about 75% of French.
Yeah.
Of cast members, and I was like, oh,
that
it was even more than that. Maybe it was like 80.
It
was like 80%. Yeah, it was like 80%
Yeah.
of cast members are French, and I was like, oh, so I really felt, and I mean, it's fine, they're higher in France than in France, but I really felt like there was maybe because I know so many cast members who are not French, maybe that's what the confusion is, but I feel like there was so many more Europeans.
We don't know what date the statistics are based on.
Because
obviously,
whatever the best looking day is.
And do they count temporary contracts?
If they took it during Halloween and Christmas, there's more French short CD, literally the Halloween or Christmas contracts. So obviously there's more French. And also during summer, so if it would be literally during May, April or something, it would probably be a little less because there's more international than short-term contracts.
Oh.
And with short-term, I mean a month.
Yeah, but it's weird because we don't live in France, when we go, a lot of people we know are not French. So
yeah.
I really felt like there was more Europeans working at Disneyland Paris, but I guess not that much. They have a lot of rules for language. They have to speak French, and it depends on what position you have. And in entertainment, I think it's quite easy. But if you're going to work in restaurants and shops, then if you don't speak fluent French, they're just going to be sorry, no.
But we also shouldn't forget that obviously there could be Spanish people or whatever that have that have worked at Disney for so long that they've now got a French passport and therefore are counted as a French person rather than Spanish.
Possible. Although you can't live in France without having a French passport, but I mean, yeah, possible. Fair enough.
Next question, also from Ash, is if you could ask Eduardo any question, what would you ask him? And that question would be, what are you studying? What's your exam for? That's my question.
Oh yeah, I would ask Eduardo what is his favorite part of Disneyland Paris and why.
Yeah, exactly, same.
Could be an attraction or a restaurant or a place or anything.
I would want to know when his first visit was and why he's so attracted to DLP and Disney.
I want to know if Eduardo wants to come on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we can make.
I think much like Viv, I'd flip one of his old questions to us back to him. What's the moment you became a fan?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we should ask Eduardo all the questions that he's been asking us since we started the live shows, and that would be an entire show in itself. I saw another question for Kuhn. Which one will open first, TDR or DLP?
Disneyland Paris.
DLP, yeah. Is
That's
Tokyo
what my
really?
gut says.
Is Tokyo really in a bad shape?
I don't think.
Well, I just think their peak was delayed because they completely held it off for the Olympics, and the second the Olympics was cancelled, they almost gave up.
No,
but they've been doing all those trainings and stuff.
Hasn't Tokyo had they started trying to let everything a bit more loose, and then they had to start going back into confinement again. So
I think so.
I don't know. I don't think that the situation over in Tokyo is the best.
Yeah, because they were really close to open at some points. They remember when they did some performance at Disney Sea of Fantasmic or something. Yeah, I don't know if they were rehearsing or if they were shooting for TV or what they were doing, but they
last day that it was meant to be played in the parks someday in March.
Yeah, and that was like, and so I feel like they were really optimistic that this wasn't going to be a long time, and now I feel like they might be the last ones to open at this point. Because, I mean, mainly because the US is reckless, so they almost don't count. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say that the US is opening because the situation's better than Tokyo. Like, the situation in Tokyo is probably 100 times better than the US, but I guess it's a different type of management and different, culture and society.
I think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
I think
it's
really do. Quite close.
I think it's really interesting how, like, basically most of the Disney parks will all open around the same week or two.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting. I wonder if Disney's doing that on purpose to try to like minimize the risk that if something goes wrong, it would go, it would be a big news.
The worst thing for Disney is, I think the ones to watch is obviously the American parks, because they are at the highest risk of having to re-close, because you can't really, if the virus gets so out of control in the US, and you can already see the signs of that happening, then there is a pretty decent chance, I think, in the US that they'll put the stay-at-home orders back on.
Yeah,
because I think they'll have to.
Can they do it in like only the states that would be the worst, or would they have to do it for like everything?
Yeah, so the way it's working in the US is sort of the county mayors and things have a level of control, and then the state governors. The federal government actually doesn't have much control at all.
Yeah. And in Florida, they just had a Zoom call with the guy from the taco place, and decided that it was okay. It was okay to reopen.
It's so funny. Like, the guy from the taco place is just like, "Yes, I approve this plan." It's like, why are you approving the plan for the biggest tourist destination in the world?
To be fair, I think maybe he was like representing maybe like a group of small businesses, whatever. But like his Zoom call name was like whatever, like so and so's Burrito Mania or something, and I was just kind of like, you have like in one window, I have this like exec at Walt Disney World Resort talking about opening this massive thing, and the other window right next to him is like this guy from the burrito place, and I was kind of like, it's Florida.
Like the guy from the burrito place and like the car showroom guys like going, yeah, Walt Disney World, yeah, do what you want, right? Because go for it. I think that your plan's great.
Yeah, and then the guy from Universal was there,
guy.
And the guy from Universal was like, yeah, I abstain from voting. I'm like, is that because you don't want to say no? Can you imagine the guy from Universal being like, I object. I think you should not open for 6 months.
The scary thing about Florida is they're reporting all the deaths as not coronavirus, and there's like cause of death, pneumonia, or cause of death, fever, like, which is scary.
Yeah, so you look at their numbers of new cases of COVID and it's going crazy up, but the deaths are kind of staying the same. Yeah. Which, like,
because no one, they'll pressure into not putting that on it.
Yeah. Well, so anyone who has any basic understanding of numbers would look at it and go, doesn't quite add up there.
Today was 2,000 new cases with only 6 deaths.
Oh, really? Okay. 2,000 new cases here? Oh, where?
No, that's
in Florida.
Oh. Is the UK doing better already? Because
the
it's
UK was like 30 deaths.
Yeah, but it's a weekend lag.
Okay. Because between you and me, I am ready, and I guess it's been long. Please get better so we can get back outside.
I don't know. Florida is.
Yeah, but Florida is just out of control. So,
California as well is pretty bad.
Yeah, which is funny because, and we were talking about that the other day, maybe because I follow, like, people I follow in California, like, a lot of them are, like, some cool Hollywood celebrities and this and that who have been, like, so, advocating for stay at home and who've been doing it so, rigidly and sort of, like, telling, trying to spread the message to, like, stay at home. So I feel like California was actually doing really well. In fact, it is not. So
no,
I don't know.
California's going the exact same way as Florida.
So I don't know what the other people are doing, but the people I follow on my Instagram were very diligent about the lockdown. So I was quite surprised to see the numbers. I was like, oh, I guess no one's listening.
Well, but everyone else might have been having pool parties or like pretending they were social distancing for Instagram and then going to a pool party after doing the post.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, it's happened in the UK, like not really in London, but it's happened also in the UK that a lot of people were having parties and stuff. There were some stories at the beginning of the lockdown, and that's not cool, people, because now we're gonna be stuck longer, you know. But anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, when you look at Japan, Hong Kong, China, even, and France, like it is much safer to reopen than the US parks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point,
no matter
I think
what
like
Taco Bill says,
Paris is going to be so safe based on the numbers and also based on what they're doing in the rest of the country. Like they're all in green zone, and I don't know. I feel like most of the restrictions are being lifted now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like by like mid-July, like doesn't in a month, France is going to be hopefully there won't be another peak, and France is going to be in an even better position, and Disneyland Paris is going to be pretty safe to go. So. It's good.
However,
it's good
I would quite like Paris to have to submit their plans to the same taco guy, and he'd be like, "Yeah, that's a good plan."
I know, right? le taco place.
Black bean chili.
Yeah.
Oh, tacos is better.
No, black bean chili is better.
I mean, I'm a bit sad that Parc Astérix didn't come in and say that DLP shouldn't reopen, just the same way Universal should have done that. Park Wars.
I mean, they're different departments, so I mean.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. So there was another question. No, wait. So no, we did that one. Elliot, do you have another question?
Yes, another one from Eduardo. So inspired by designing DLP series, which Eduardo's really enjoying. Thank you, Eduardo.
Yay.
Really loving it too. So if you could bring to the resort a cancelled or shelved project from Imagineering, what would it be? It can be a restaurant, an attraction, or even a park concept. Anything. Beauty and the Beast attraction. No, but it's meant to be like it wasn't going to be an attraction though. The DLP one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was going to be like.
It was going to be an attraction, like next to Bella Notte.
Yeah. There's like no room back there.
You have not paid attention to designing DLP.
I know. I saw the plans. I was like, where would this go? I was like, where would that facade go? Because how's that facade going to go next to Bella Notte?
Well, no, because there's like a turn there. It's like where Arbre Chanté is, you know?
Yeah.
I think even the Little Mermaid attraction would have been like those films are really popular, and when you consider like in Disneyland Paris, if you want to do something that's Beauty and the Beast, or if you want to do something that's like Little Mermaid, it's only character related. Like there's nothing really else to do. So I think, and like those movies have really stood the test of time. It's not what I would prefer, but it makes the most logical like business sense. Like we're saying, we're adding to Fantasyland. Like there's so many things that are iconic that they could really just add, and they had the right ideas, but they just never really did it. So
yeah,
and I love Dark Rides as well. Like I really enjoyed Dark Rides. I'm just putting that out there.
I would have loved to tease the guys a mountain as well in Frontierland.
Oh, that was a fun one. Yeah, it was kind of like
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror, but like in a mine format where you were being shot up by the geyser. That could have been super fun. Yeah. I can't remember what else. What else got shelved?
The New Orleans hotel would have been epic.
Yeah. And I mean the Volcano Bay, inspired. Yeah. Well, the concept that did inspire Volcano Bay, which was meant for Paris as a theme park. I think that would have been fun.
I think it would have done quite well too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously...
would have done so well, wouldn't it? Because it was half indoors, half outside. Yeah. It was such a brilliant concept.
Yeah. And I mean, it would have been a huge dome, like huge. With the volcano would have been sort of like the support of the dome in the middle.
But there's even so little to do. Like, you've got the arcades and stuff, but like, I'm really surprised that Disneyland Paris hasn't gone like for and like in Tokyo the way they have Mermaid Lagoon and whatever. I'm really surprised that has gone. Like, they obviously had the idea for Discovery Mountain, but like that's a thing that would really, really, really be useful because it would always be kind of guaranteed like when the weather is quite bad, it would be always a kind of area you can go and eat and shop and go on a ride. And it mightn't be at an elaborate, but it would at least be like a kind of an indoor area. It would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah, I think the fully realized Discovery Bay would have been amazing, obviously. Yeah. Like a giant complex.
And it would have been like outer space as well. Like you would walk into that area and it'd be like, wow, I'm actually in space. I don't have to dream about going.
Yeah.
Like you solve that problem as well, which would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh man.
Are we talking about literally anything?
Yeah.
Anything in the world? Because they spoke about building a villains park for years in Florida.
Oh yeah.
It was rumored for so long, and it never happened, obviously. So I think revisiting that, and like even like a small scale in like a land would be quite cool.
Yeah.
As well.
Villains Land.
Yeah.
It could be like they could do like an alternative Fantasyland, like the good side and the bad side, and you could have
the Lost.
Oh yeah, you could have all the villains from Fantasyland, like from Dumbo to Snow White to all of them to Pinocchio, like all the baddies, like in a land right next door in like a darker land.
Parallel universe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantasyland, yeah.
Like a mirror image of the two lands.
But I mean, Snow White already scares the little kids, so I feel like it might have not been very family friendly if you had a whole scary land full of villains. But it could be fun.
But inspired by what David said a second ago, it's kind of a weird spin-off, but every Disney CEO has these weird park vanity projects. So for Iger, it was Shanghai. What do we think Chapek's will be?
He's not that type of CEO.
Target.
I don't know. I feel like Chapek is not going to be focused on parks.
But every CEO wants to leave their mark on the company that's lasting, and all of them have. Chapek will want to do something. Like you can't imagine that he just wants to sit there and be the CEO that keeps things sticking over.
I could see Chapek launch. I could see Chapek launch a third park in Anaheim.
No, going where?
It's it's Disney. You want to make it happen, you can make it happen.
Yeah,
you can make it happen. They own a giant parking lot. They own Toy Story and also own a giant parking lot that's sort of across from the convention center.
There's land down by the stadium, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Toy Story is the one that's earmarked. So that's just opposite King's Inn, actually.
And there's like some ways, to link it. You could do like, the same way that Universal is doing with the train. You could have like, a windowless, themed monorail or underground train that takes you there, and you would just like not even realize that you've moved locations.
I think a third park
will be India.
Maybe. But I think Anaheim will get a third park because they are rapidly running out of space.
Yeah. Yeah, it really sucks that, they have all those hotels and all that, and those hotels will never let go. Like, they'll never sell. And you see, like, anything that goes on the market, Disney buys. They bought that piece of land when they were going to do the Eastern Gateway or whatever with the parking and everything, all the shit that got cancelled. But they bought that hotel and turned it down and tore it down, like, in a flash, because any real estate that goes up for sale, they'll buy. But those hotels, they don't want to sell. I mean, those hotels are probably been paid off like 50 years ago, and now they sell you those rooms for like $100 a night. It's basically all profits.
Free money, yeah.
It costs nothing. It costs almost nothing to operate, and it's just such a good investment. Why would they sell? And of course, if they sell, they ask Disney for like billions.
I would be shocked if Chapek doesn't announce something that's kind of like his thing. I don't think it'll be next year, but I imagine at D23, probably D23 2023, the 100th anniversary of the company, he will just go like bonkers and announcing all sorts of bizarre things. I think, the 100th anniversary for the company, that's surely going to have some big announcements.
I mean, Kunz is also a fifth park for Disney World. I mean, right now it's hard.
Also possible.
Right now, it's hard to imagine.
I just don't think Hollywood Studios is fully realized yet, and that You know.
Well, we're just in a weird position now because after the COVID crisis and all the investments that were just made and the 50th of new attractions, it seems like Disney World is getting a lot. But eventually, Disney World is always going to be Disney World. Like it's such a giant dream vacation factory. Like there's always going to be demands. They just have to know what to do and how to do it and when. So yeah.
I would imagine that 2023, it's going to be really difficult to see that year going without anything major announced. Like, there's got to be something, surely.
Yeah. I mean, surely there's going to be nothing announced for Disneyland Paris.
No,
But,
I don't think Paris, but the company will probably be looking to do some big investments to be all over the news cycle for at least a year.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big one. Like, they have to go big.
The problem is Paris just needs the fixing first. So let's finish all the fixing. Let's finish Disney Village. Let's finish Walt Disney Studios. And then we can think of doing anything else. Like, I would rather not start a new project before everything is fixed, Because
No, I don't
Studios
think
is
it'll
going to
be a
need
Paris
another
project.
expansion. Like, crossing fingers that, Avengers Campus, Frozen, and Star Wars do happen in the next years. Then we're going to need another expansion in there. It's going to be quite empty around the lake. So, I'd rather have another expansion before we get a third park. If it's to have like a half-baked park like Studios.
Yeah, it makes sense to max out Studios real estate before doing a third park.
Yeah, because also you have all the infrastructure and you have, but of course the third park also means that you can up the price quite a lot. And people are going to stay 3 days. That's the thing.
I think Paris will get its third park eventually, like years down the line. But I think it will come.
Yeah.
Nothing announced before 2030 earliest.
Yeah, but hey, it's going to be an interesting few years if all goes on plan for us Disneyland Paris fan. I think we have a lot on our plate. We tend to forget, but we actually have a huge expansion that is like happening right now. And apparently, according to Elliot, the works are going to start next week. So, Darren, we should play your Tim Delaney interview that you did with him. I'm just kidding. So a bit of background. This was recorded back when they launched Space Mountain, the version 1, right?
Yeah, 1995.
95, and this was on a promotional cassette tape.
It's a cassette tape of the press pack. So it's a press. So the tape has all the sound effects, the bands playing, the whole thing from the opening kind of thing, and then there's this few minutes of interview. All
right, so let's. It's only 3 minutes, so I thought it'd be cool to like complete or theme from last week, but with this interview. And he talks about like a lot of the details and a lot of reasoning of why they did Space Mountain that way and how they changed it and everything. So it's quite interesting. So let's play this, and thank you, Darren, for sourcing and recording, uploading all the stuff. And then
sure.
We'll be back in 3 minutes.
The Space Mountains in our other parks have proven to be incredibly popular from their beginning to even to this day. They're the most popular of all of our attractions. However, this one's going to even be more popular because it goes faster, has more unique features to it. It has the onboard sound, the catapult launch, the ability to walk through the mountain. All of these elements are improvements, and improvements that we felt very, very strongly about several years ago when we started designing this, because we knew that we had to get ready for the 21st century and we had to create the greatest and latest technology. Every 36 seconds, we're going to see this cannon recoil with a big boom and smoke come out, and you'll see this train get fired up the side of the mountain. After you've been launched, you'll actually travel all through this space environment. Then you will go through what is called a loop or a sidewinder. You actually come out of that, go flying through this asteroid field, and then we'll encounter this corkscrew that we go through. So we go upside down twice there. And then the final element is we go upside down again in the just before the reentry, where we actually come into what is called a tongue, where the ride comes upside down and then goes flying into the reentry scene. Well, the inspiration actually came from the story of Jules Verne's De la Terre à la Lune, from the Earth to the Moon. And in that story, the key part of that was that the journey to the moon actually started by launching a train from a cannon, this enormous cannon. And the key to that was it was like a whole new inspiration as to how to launch a vehicle from the Earth to the moon. They very clearly demonstrated how man could travel into outer space, to the moon, and the last show was called Mars and Beyond. The shows were so popular that after they had shown on the evening, the Sunday evening, that President Dwight Eisenhower showed it to his scientists, and from that point, it really launched us quite significantly into the man in space program.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The interesting thing about Jules Verne's inspiration in dreams and storytelling was that he inspired an awful lot of other visionaries and writers to actually write about other journeys into space. What Walt Disney did is he created a vision that actually launched a real space program. What Space Mountain is going to do is put the guests into an experience that they have never been in before. Walt Disney was a visionary in his own right. In the mid-50s, he created 3 television shows called Man in Space, which actually portrayed a contemporary version of a trip from the Earth to the moon.
One of the popular attractions here is our simulated rocket trip around the moon. After entering the Disneyland spaceport, visitors may experience the thrills that space travelers of the future will encounter when rocket trips to the moon become a daily routine. However, scientists tell us that it will be many years before space travel becomes a reality.
We're done because we're gonna be back.
We're back. Sorry.
That was a short interview.
I know. I was like eating yogurt. But I told you it was 3 minutes. It's okay. I just put the sound back on, and Viv was just saying we're gonna be back, which we are. Hello, welcome back. So yeah, it's actually such a super interesting interview. He doesn't really say anything new, but it's just really cool to hear him talk about it and how actually the Jules Verne's novel were maybe not the reason, but were a component of the start of the idea of putting men in space and everything. So really, Space Mountain is really linked to this whole space program, and then Walt obviously did the whole attraction around space exploration. So it's quite cool. There's a lot of real life things inspired from all those stories. So that's nice.
Having not heard that interview, does he mention that in the Verne novel they blast off to space from Florida?
No, but it's quite interesting.
Okay, so they did. Yeah, so the Baltimore Gun Club, when they're shooting they shoot the cannon thing into space, they do that from Florida. So that's fun.
Oh, because at the opening of Space Mountain, they had Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley there, didn't they? If you've ever watched that, so it's a real American thing coming into it, French American.
Yeah, and it's funny because obviously the first mission to the moon was also launched from Florida, and they still all are today.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, and now it's just nonsense. But that's okay. This was last week's topic. We did that last week. We did that last week. Elliot, do we have any more questions?
Yes. So one from Ed.
Oh wait, I have questions in the DMs as well. Oh shit, I forgot about this.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
What more could we see to celebrate Pride Month? What more could we see around the world from the rest of the Disney parks, and why is DLP the only one to mark Pride?
America.
Well, yeah, I mean, Disneyland Paris has been actually kind of a pioneer on, and it's been a bit of a arm twisting, I think, behind the scenes to have an official Pride party inside a Disney park. Obviously, Orlando has had private Pride events, gay days for decades,
red t-shirt gay days.
But it was never official.
The reason why the US don't do it is you just have to look at if they release a shirt or something that's a rainbow. Just look in the comments and just look in the filth that appears. That's why.
There was church groups threatening to boycott Beauty and the Beast because Josh Gad stares into the eyes of another man for not even 30 seconds, and people were threatening to boycott it. Which I think is sad, as I think
But Disneyland Paris have owned this now, don't they? They've taken away the Magical Pride
exactly.
name. They've put their name to it. There's real sort of pride in it, if you like.
But I think that's the big step, because events for Pride have happened in US parks for a long time, but Disney has always taken the approach of like answering to all those groups, but that's it's not us. They're renting the space. They're just the landlord, basically. And so in Paris, they were like, well, what we're going to do is we actually going to be the organizers instead of just being the landlords. And that's a big step. And I know, if you look on the grand scheme of things and all the, the progress that's been made in society just today, like, there was a court ruling in the US, like, putting forward the rights of LGBT community and all that. So of course there's way more important things, but I think on a Disney level it's a big step, because Disney has, whether we want it or not, traditionally been quite a conservative company, and it's been really hard, especially in the US, to make any kind of progress without everyone just going up in arms. So it is what it is.
It's also worth saying that yes, they have done the landlording of some events, but at least in California, I don't know so much in Florida, is they have been taking part in Pride parades for many years now, and they've sent down like the omnibus and things. Like they've been doing that for quite a fair while.
Yeah. So it's great progress. I mean, I think we can really be proud of Paris, and I saw everyone in Paris management is so much behind this project. It is really just really nice to see. Like, Natasha, I know we're just, we can be a bit harsh sometimes, but she's really behind this project, and she really means it. And Daniel Delcourt is also extremely behind this project, and they're all like very much on board with this. The ambassadors, and a lot of people at Team Disney, a lot of people at management are very much into this. So it's, I think it's too easy for, there's always some people who are going to say, oh, they're just doing it for the money, or they're just doing it, because it's cool, or to sell merchandise, or to sell tickets or whatever. But like, I can really tell you that those people really care about it, and those people really want to make a difference. And if you've been to the party, you've seen the cast members, and maybe you've run into, Natasha or Gio or Danielle, and you can see like how happy they were and how proud they were that the event was being held. So it was really nice to see that it actually really is something that they believe in. It's not a PR stunt. There's obviously a part, that is, there's always going to be economics, but
also with the Pride event, they made it a Pride event rather than a character night or a Disney night. It had that, but it had that Pride feel about it, and they did it very well.
Yeah.
And from now on in Disneyland Park as well, which shows,
exactly,
they're actually willing to close the park early on that day for this event, which they only do for like Halloween in summer,
And what I thought was really cool also is that, the Pride Parade at Studios last year, it was, I mean, if you know how like we're bitches when it comes to like quality and show and like how big the floats are and everything. It was a really small parade, but it was mostly people on foot dancing with balloons, and I think it really touched everyone, because it was like so emotional.
It was a Pride parade, wasn't it?
So passionate, it was a Pride parade. It was just like really. I think everyone got really touched.
Who were there on their own time.
Yeah,
and they care, and they wanted to be there.
And I think there's no incidents, because obviously, people were afraid, like, what's going to happen, like, if people are going to, behave badly or whatever, and like, I mean, there were a few crazy people, like a couple here and there, but makes things interesting. But mostly everyone, it was just like, LGBT families.
Everyone was respectful of the location,
Yeah, and there were kids, it was like really nice. And
I think
Boy George showed up with his camcorder.
Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe.
I do think it'll go to the American parks, though. I think it will make its way over there. It might take a few years.
But remember, like, all the hate that went around after that. There were, like, a petition.
There was petitions.
Yeah, they were, like, tagging Disneyland Paris in, like, hundreds of tweets per day and just signing the petition. And also people, I think, don't always understand. Like, they think that, you could just go to the park with your family and all of a sudden, instead of getting a normal parade, you're getting a Pride parade. No, that's not how it works. this is made by Disneyland Paris, but this is still a private event. If you don't want to go, you really don't have to go because it's not even during park hours. You really have to buy a special ticket for it. So, you know, I don't think it disturbs anything or anyone. So, yeah. But some people don't understand that because obviously they don't want to understand that. But hey. So, sad times, you know, it would have been last week, 2 weeks ago or something this year. And obviously it is cancelled like everything this year. But hey, next year.
Already confirmed for next year.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna keep the same performers. Yeah, the same lineup, and the same for Electroland. Electroland had a great lineup this year. I really was excited to go because I've never been.
I mean,
to
a good theme, didn't it? It was a good
maybe
theme.
Maybe the whole reason that they already put a date next year is because they keep the same lineup, you know,
Maybe.
so that they were early to like reschedule with the artists.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Possible, we'll see. And I mean, in terms of like diversity in the parks and everything, I think it's quite hard because the attractions and everything are quite based on Disney stories. So it'd be quite hard to like add diversity to the parks. But I mean, it's not impossible. I don't know. Yeah, why not? For like new attraction and all this and that. I mean, we're building Frozen Land. There's all those rumors. I don't know.
But you could do things like, yes, you've got your Pride Party one night a week, but this kind of requires Disneyland Paris food service to be good. But hey, you could run like special menus and things like that, special merchandise for the month. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge thing. Like it can just be, this is the Pride month, and for this month you can buy all of this stuff.
And this is what happened last year.
Right?
Snacks.
Oh, maybe
themed around Pride.
maybe not the snacks, but last year there was definitely a full line of
The merch
merchandise.
was the month.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
Which was
it would be nice to have like snacks and things. Like if the food
They can make
up their
cupcakes with
game.
like.
Yeah, I mean they had the rainbow cake, but it was quite hard to find on the nights.
But you go into, I remember last year in Disneyland, I had the Main Street Electrical Parade cake in Plaza Inn. And, and that's like that's like got the rainbow colors inside. So you can do rainbow cake. It's possible.
They also had like all those cute Main Street Electrical Parade snacks, like the snail
Wasn't the
and
rainbow
all those
cake
things.
in Studio One though last year?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but just for the party. But the thing is, like, I think I mean, obviously it was the first edition, so they need to like get their groove. But I was under the impression that you can only get it with the menu because it was really heavily advertised on the screens at Coulisses, amazing restaurant, and and clearly I did not really fancy getting an Coulisses burger just to get the cake. But apparently it was also sold at like a truck in the back of by
cool.
Tower of Terror, but I didn't realize that. But yeah, so next year,
Which is
Pride
really
will be
cool.
back.
They just gave you a little like piece of paper coming in, like here's what we're selling and here's where to get it, because then at least people would know what we could get.
So
You know,
basically,
and
it's
that
the
is
booklets they
something
had with the Star Wars season, Star Wars and Frozen season.
that is something
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like they
Yeah,
need to
and they
do.
did it last year for the Lion King as well, but I feel like it definitely needs to. It shouldn't be like, oh, whenever we feel like it. It should be literally all the time, because like
It
we
should
spoke-
be on the back of the map or something.
yeah, like we
Exactly,
spoke
that's what I was gonna say. If you go to Tokyo, they give you those maps and they have all this on it. Go ahead, Patrick. Sorry. Hello.
No, just like the more, like we said in previous episodes, as soon as you walk through the gate, that's when they should be trying to get you to like spend more. And if people don't know what you're selling, then how you expect them to just wander across it?
Yeah, I mean the real estate on the weekly program is not really well used because you have like already like 2 pages of just photos, and then they have like huge charts with all the times and stuff that could be much more compressed, and then you could probably have at least like 3 or 4 pages where you could put like the latest merch, where to find it, the latest snacks, and where to find it. And given they print those every week, they could update them really frequently with like, here's this
But
new
that
doll,
would rely
here's this
teams
new
talking to each other.
yeah, that's true. But like, here's this new cake, this new jersey, this new like collectible, and you can find it at this store for that much money. In Tokyo, I remember those like merchandise are like literally the phone book. Like there's like a million things in there. So yeah, but hey, we'll see.
Do you reckon?
I guess.
Do you reckon there's too much space given to like sponsors on it? Because I feel like there's a lot of like when I look at like maps and like programs and stuff, I feel like there's always like a really kind of big space for sponsors. And I know sponsors are necessary for like, you know, the running of the park and to make money and whatever. But I'm like, I feel like just in general.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like Pandora.
Yeah, but they make loads of different, like, they make them in loads of different languages. So it's not as if they're, like, squeezing 6 languages onto one map. It's like each map has its own kind of space to breathe, like.
Yeah. And Seb says he loves the Disneyland program. Like, it's like monochrome with just a schedule. You know, they just print on a white paper in, like, one color all the times. And you just, like, slot it into, like, the bigger park map when they give you a ticket. It's quite nice. It's a bit old school.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that those parks do a lot better. I think Paris, they kind of just get away with doing things really basic. But if you remember, they were starting to do it. They made that little guide about a week before lockdown with the two Frozen and Star Wars snacks on it.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah.
It was
things
sent
are
to
in
us.
motion, I think.
It was sent to us on Inside Ears, this like weird PDF that was just this really narrow and really long thing, and no one really understood why it was that weird format. And we're like, oh, it's because it's from the printing.
But why can't those things be ready for? Because like the Frozen season and the Star Wars season had been on a while. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
we had them. The hotels had them, but only at like. Only the concierge and only like small, you know, like they didn't come in like large amounts, like the buttons, for example. So they just didn't really give them to people. And I think in the parks they had them as well, but just like they didn't really talk about it, you know. So only if you knew they existed, you would be able to find them.
That's always kind of a thing at DLP. You have to know things exist. They don't only give it to you.
Yeah, because I remember at David Crockett Ranch, they just gave them to every single guest, and I was like, oh. That's smart.
Interesting. Well, maybe that was a test.
That's why we follow DLP Report, isn't it?
Yeah, it could have been a test. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely an effect. Like if we tweet about, you know, there's a new button somewhere, or like there's a new program or new something, people are gonna go and like, because there's so few things that you can get for free inside the park, like buttons or guides or whatever. That like when there is something, people just like rush to it. I feel like in Disneyland or Disney World, it's such a normal thing. Like, the first thing you're going to think when you get into the park, unless it's like your birthday or your first visit, you're not going to rush to get a button. But in Paris, if you learn that they have new buttons, everyone is going to want to get one because they know it's never going to last, and then they want to have, like, this collectible. So maybe if they were more available, people would stop, like, running like crazy for them. But yeah, but I like the guides. I don't know how we got to that discussion, by the way, but here we are.
Food. We're talking about how they could make like special Pride food and drink for the season.
Ah, yes, true.
Pride cocktails.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
we have a few questions from Gavin Perry, who, and I'm gonna do just the first and last one because the second one we kind of answered. And I thought that would be a great moment to bash our favorite show. He says, "Do you have any unpopular, controversial DLP opinions?" Well, actually, unpopular and controversial is not really Illumination because I think most people agree that it's crap.
Yeah.
I
mean, they have some.
Does it have to be positive or negative?
But most people
unpopular / controversial, like something that most people like, and I guess you don't like.
Starlight Princess Worlds. I loved it in the beginning, but you know, it's over.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. You know, when the parks reopen, put the princess in Royal Castle stage and make them wave to guests, but just give us something new, please.
Yeah. I don't know if it's controversial, but I don't really like Buzz Lightyear.
No, I don't.
Me neither. No. But it could also be just because they were obviously they were like refurbing it now, but obviously a lot of the targets didn't work anymore.
Oh, that's so true though. It's been that's not going to reopen with the park.
Nope.
That's going to not reopen.
I mean, most likely is going to remain shut.
Yeah, it was going to be done for I think early August.
Now, July.
The thing that annoyed me with Buzz was like so much of having a good score relied on a disabled person getting on.
Oh, yeah, because the
because it stops the ride.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, like, controversial opinion, I definitely preferred Dreams of Christmas over regular Dreams.
Oh.
What?
I did enjoy Dreams of Christmas. Though.
Yeah.
Like, I did enjoy it, but
I just thought I'd throw the cats among the... But, like, it's very simple, and it's because it's my brand, and the fact that I really don't... I think Peter Pan is way too overused at Disneyland Paris, and it was nice to have... I feel like at least when they put Anna and Olaf, it was kind of like, hey, yeah, you couldn't do Frozen today, but here's, like, a show, and they're kind of really in it, and it was, like... kind of like, or filled, like, not only did it work because it told the story, but it also filled, like, I guess, the desire to kind of have, like, more of, like, a Frozen when Disneyland Paris is not going to spend money to have, like, more Frozen on the parks. So I thought that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
I actually really like Ratatouille. I think it's nice.
That is controversial.
I like the area.
Okay, can I ask something? How long do you think Mickey and the Magician can go on for?
A few more years.
A few more years?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was.
Really?
However, they could update some of the scenes. Like, they could change the Frozen 1
Definitely.
scene into Frozen 2, you know, to keep
The music
her
in
in.
Frozen 2, the music of Frozen 2 isn't as iconic as Frozen 1.
I know, but, you know, like,
But
they could
update
definitely
it.
update it.
Fresh. Yeah.
Just like they did with Dreams
Right.
when they added in Merida, like, after a few, you know, that was nice.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Mickey and the Magician was budgeted for 13 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
it's a
got at
great
least
show.
10
Let's
in
not lie about it.
It's a great show.
That's an amazing show.
And how
it
long
needs a
Mickey and
refresh.
the Magical Map has been around? Like, I
Yeah.
don't think. I think
Even
that's
Animagic.
that's why that's what I miss a bit more about when you look at Disneyland Paris in the past with shows like even Dreams and like shows that they used to have. They would always try and like tweak it, like Forest of Enchantment and stuff like that. They tweaked it a lot more. Whereas I feel like now lately they kind of just like, yep, that worked. Let's just do it again.
First of Enchantment was also great, though. They should bring that back for spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a cute
I
show.
don't like how they have been tweaking Mickey and the Magician. I thought the first
Yeah.
year was great, and then every single year it comes back, and you're like, but it was better when you had the thing you had before. Now it's just like you've changed it for no reason.
They
Yeah,
literally change the choreography every year for no reason.
They
Literally no reason.
they should just change one of the scenes.
I think
Yeah.
I
Scene change
I
would be
always
good.
thought
Yeah.
that, like, Jasmine should come on after the genie and sing Speechless, and that'd be quite cool.
That would be sick.
Ooh.
I think,
Yeah.
I think they should
I
dump
watched
that
that
King
film
scene
once, yeah. Yes, please.
because it doesn't really fit. Because Rafiki's not magic.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Ah.
That's
Yeah,
true,
but
actually.
I feel like that's more like a marketing move because people just love The Lion King and you just have to have it in there.
Yeah, well, we're lucky now. We've got a Lion King stage show.
Yeah, remember when they announced The Lion King and Jungle Festival? We're like, so are they going to remove The Lion King from Mickey Magician? And no, actually, it was part of the marketing. You can also see The Lion King and Mickey Magician. They're like,
And you can watch a video of the Lion King show at the studio theatre. Remember that was a thing.
Oh, God. Talk about dark times.
I forgot about that.
That was
Dark
Yeah.
Times last year.
Yeah, that was bad. Dark Times last year, yeah, that was bad. Well, it'd be interesting to see also if like the Frontierland Theater is going to reopen with the park. Is that area going to be open? And
It won't because the paving was almost finished, but I think they had about 2 or 3 weeks left, didn't they? When
Yeah,
the
but in
park
the-
shut.
But in the safety
For what?
plans, they have like a selfie photo spot meet and greet thing where you know the Arendelle village was.
Oh, they do.
So I'm
Jembe
like,
Joy.
yeah, so maybe that place will have some characters, which means the area might be reopened. But I guess they have to finish the construction. They were really, really close. I mean, I don't remember like anything being like completely ripped apart anymore. They had like completely resurfaced it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I also like Galaxy's Edge. Like, I think it's a pleasant place. There's problems with it for sure, but
Yeah,
I
I
like
don't think,
it.
I think
I don't think that's too controversial there.
it's not bad. It just needs more.
It's just like Galaxy's Edge got a really bad press when they opened because Rise wasn't ready for like 8 months or something. So
I was thinking about it earlier after our discussion this morning, and I was just thinking that I actually think that the marketplace is really impressive. And
I
the
love the
sounds,
marketplace.
when you walk around
yeah.
and you've got the sounds of the spaceships going overhead, like,
Yeah.
it's really good. Like, it's a very big departure, I think, from what Disney's done in the past, where everything has to have a background loop. And Galaxy's Edge is just like, well, let's just make it feel like you're there. And
Yeah.
I think it does a really good job.
The Imagineers 100% did the best with the resources they were given. 100%.
Yeah,
But
and I think also
I think even that downplays it. Like, it's not they did the best with what they had. They did a really good job. They just had some unfortunate cuts.
And also,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
life was
we
like that.
we all went last summer at Disneyland, and I don't think any of us has done Rise. And
I was
so,
supposed to have done it by now.
yeah.
I did.
Sunrise.
But like,
I
I
did
feel
it.
like if you imagine what
Sorry,
we did.
Darren. None of us.
Sorry.
None of us have done
So,
Rise.
sorry, yeah, I've done Rise.
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
you've
I
done
don't-
Rise, Darren. Oh.
in
I
January.
saw that too.
Well, maybe
So
you
have I-
can compare to the experience that you had last summer at Disneyland, because I feel like the experience that I've had at Disneyland, if you put Rise with it, the mix of like, you know, doing the Millennium Falcon, walking through the market, getting some food, getting some lightsaber done, having a cocktail at Oga's, just walking around some more, looking at the shops, looking at the details of the shops, and then doing the whole Rise of the Resistance attraction, I feel like that is a full, complete experience. No? I feel like because we're missing the other attraction, I feel like we didn't really get to experience the full-fledged Galaxy's Edge.
It is. Yeah, definitely. It gives you a whole lot more to do, and it's incredible. But for me, that ride is still stuck in a building out the back, and I think we spoke about this before. But the kinetics of the land, I want a bit more busy land, lots more sound and connection.
It does look
for
like
me.
it's like in a forest or something, right? It's a queue, like it's sort of like in a forest area.
It's incredible. I mean, it is incredible, and even when you disembark, is amazing. Just leaving the area is wonderful.
But is the animatronics a bit whack?
Yeah, you thought that, didn't you? Yeah, we chatted about this, didn't we? Yeah, you weren't sure about it, were you?
Like, it was cool, but I just feel like the animatronics are so whack, and I'm like, what's happening here? Everyone else is so cool, and then there's like,
Everything is wow.
his
It
legs
is
aren't
wow.
moving, and he's moving towards me, but his legs aren't moving. What's happening?
And I haven't been to both of them on either side. It's like the Disney World one is flipped around, so the sun is in a different direction. So you feel like you're in California, or sort of Galaxy's Edge in California, but the sun is coming from a different direction, so your photos are a bit different. That was my thought.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So if you're standing at the Millennium Falcon, you've got the sun behind you, kind of thing.
Ah.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
flipped.
Okay.
Never thought of that.
I think
should we
that,
do?
that marketplace is just like a masterpiece, though. I think it's
Yeah, it's one of the best parts of the whole land.
Should we do one more question?
Do you have more questions?
Yeah, I mean, we can do a last one. It can be like a quick, round table, because we're already going on 2 hours and a half, people. Which attraction is most desperately in need of refurb or upgrade? So we're talking Disneyland Paris.
Ratatouille.
Yeah. Do you feel like they could actually rebuild Ratatouille and remove the screens? No, that'll never happen.
No.
Well, I would say Buzz Lightyear, but now it's getting his refurbishment. I don't know.
I
To be
would
honest,
say
I
Hyperspace
think-
Mountain, because it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, Space
I think-
Mountain,
I think they did a great job with the experience enhancement plan. So I think most stuff that needed to be refurbished has. And I don't think attraction maintenance in terms of paint and stuff like that is much of an issue at DLP anymore, per se.
Yeah.
Pirate still has some issues. Like, the
Yeah.
dueling pirate still never work.
They
the,
do.
The swinging pirate is still, like, something that they have problems with. Like, it's better, but pirates, like, they fix it, and then, like, within 5-6 months, it's just like, oh well.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I would also say, all the effects in Into Small World, like, I feel like all those effects are so simple, and it's just really astonishing that they can't keep them running all the time. I get that the attraction's open all day, and those things are like, swinging or turning all day, but, I mean, I don't know. The kites on the ceiling, and we were talking about that the other day. I feel like all this should be like such simple effects, and they add so much kinetic and movement to the attraction. Sometimes you go through it and everything's kind of just like dead, you know? It's like, you have like some things turning, but you know, the whole ceiling is off.
That ceiling needs to be darkened as well.
Yeah, it's lighter. It's too light shade of blue. But it's the blue sky because it's a small world.
But the colors, the lighting and things in Small World is beautiful. It's just completely ruined by the really light sky. It's sky ceiling. It just doesn't make any sense.
You see all the squares from the drop ceiling.
Yeah, you see the air conditioning vents, and it's like you go to even the Disneyland one. It's not perfect, but it's a lot darker, and it does look better for it.
It's interesting that they never corrected that in a refurb or something. I guess they never repainted the ceiling. Because at Pirates, for example, talking about Pirates is completely dark, and sometimes you don't even realize that there's a ceiling. Like when your boat goes in front of the restaurant, like it really feels like you're outside. You don't really see the ceiling, so yeah. But apart from that, I feel like a lot of our attractions are actually decent state currently. Autopia they need to get fixed, and they did, and I don't know. Studios, obviously, but Studios is being worked on, so here we are.
Well, even in Studios, the attractions are in a pretty good state. It's just a case of, do you like the attractions?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, soon, hopefully, we will like it. Oh, Seb says the smoke in Big Thunder Mountain, but I mean, I feel like that's also something that they added later. It didn't work, but yeah.
It's probably being sacrificed.
Flying carpets over Agrabah needs a desperate refurbishment.
What does?
Flying carpets over Agrabah.
It does.
Oh
hugely.
God! Oh my God! Yeah. Good call. Oh yeah. I mean, it needs removal. That's what it needs. But if it isn't removed, it needs a complete refurbishment. I mean, you get on those carpets and there's no more paint where you put your hands to like make it move. It's basically white because it's been like polished by all the kids' hands so much over the year, which.
And they used to like move like carpets. Now they don't move at all.
Yeah. In today's world, I'm like, how is that going to work? Are you going to still be able to operate your carpet? Do you want to touch that lever? I don't know.
Same with Dumbo.
They did in Hong Kong. Dumbo won't reopen, and you'll have Mickey and Minnie going around on Dumbo.
I saw that.
You're joking.
I'm excited.
That's in the video. That looks really cool.
So it's like there's new and exciting ways to meet your Disney friends. Yeah. It's fun to see Mickey on Dumbo.
Yeah, I would love that. I'm in for it.
That's what's going to happen to the carousel.
Oh my gosh, yes, the carousel too.
Because someone mentioned the carousel to me, and I don't think I connected the dots until now. When they said that they were going to put certain characters on the carousel, is because they're not going to put guests on it.
Oh my God, they can put Alice in the teacups.
The teacups.
Oh my gosh, teacups as well. Yeah.
Oh my
Just
God.
got an insight in my brain. That would be really cute.
Okay, what do you have to touch stuff on?
Well,
Buzz,
teacups. I mean, you
Orbitron, teacups.
Big Thunder
Mountain. Everything. Big Thunder Mountain. You're gonna touch the bar. They can't. That can't be it. That can't be how they're gonna do that.
I mean, they could for like the smaller attractions, but then they can't really block out all of Fantasyland, can they? Because then small kids can't do rides.
Yeah, and I mean, even teacups. Like, I mean, just put a pump of hand sanitizer before and a pump after, and just don't touch your face during the attraction. Yeah. Like, I mean, at some point, you gotta. If you touch things and you don't touch your face, you're fine. Especially if you use sanitizer before and after the attraction, which is like a minute.
I'm just curious.
Everyone's in masks, everyone's past temperature screening, the risks of transmission are quite low, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just curious as to how much they're gonna obligate the masks, because in like Park Oslings, they're not obligated unless you're in a covered space.
Well, I think in Paris it's everywhere. Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. But they might have those like rest areas like they did at Universal, where you can go in there. It's separate from people.
Also, how are they gonna control smoking? Because
Yeah, smoking is gonna have. That would be such a great time. That'd be such a great time to like forbid smoking in the park. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna blame things on COVID, like put that on the bill, please, because it needs to go anyway, and so that would be a great time, you know.
Because they could use like the smoking areas as like relax areas, except if people are gonna smoke, I would really not want to be.
I mean, it's a respiratory disease. You probably don't want to rest in a smoking area.
No, absolutely not.
I think so. The way the American parks did it is you actually have to leave the security cordon to smoke, so you have to go outside. I'd be all down for that.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, European guests are gonna be so mad. There will be protests because also like. I feel like in the US, like at Disney World especially, if you leave the security area, like the queues are rarely like, apart from like, you know, morning rush or whatever, the queues aren't usually too long. But in Paris, sometimes if you get back on the Plaza Hub, like you're gonna have to queue again to get back in. It's just like, but yeah,
Plus,
they could
there'll just be like a bunch of people on the Plaza Hub smoking.
Well, they could turn the picnic area. You know that picnic area that no one uses because everyone brings their food inside the park? The one that's by the moving walkways. Though. Yeah, well, that could be the smoking area. You could put like 200 people smoking in there. Although the smoke... No, it's next to the moving walkways. Like, you know, when you exit the moving walkways...
It's by the buses, isn't it?
You know the bridge where you walk like from the buses to the Hotel New York car entrance?
Yeah.
You see it on your right. There. You can enter there, yeah.
No way. I've only been to guest parking like twice.
I'm not talking guest parking.
I've never been actually inside the picnic area, but I kind of want to visit now.
It was when you weren't allowed to take your own food into the park, so you were sent.
I mean, you're still not.
Well,
yeah, but
technically not
like,
supposed to do that.
Early 90s, they actually checked your bags for it.
Yeah,
so that's the only thing they were checking your bags for was food.
Yeah. Well, after the first year, they were like, "We're not making money. We're not going to let anyone with food inside the park."
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be all very interesting questions. I think we're going to be very busy reporting for the first few days of opening because there's so many questions. So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I think this concludes the show.
I miss DLP.
We will be back in 2 weeks, but maybe we'll be back next Monday.
Are we going to do a show no matter what day it's announced? Like, if it's announced, should we just do it?
I just answered your question, Jeff.
I mean, yeah, but
oh no, next Monday's WWDC. Oh no.
Well, we'll do that, Elliot. But I mean, I don't know exactly how much more we can discuss about the reopening. We cannot like spill all the tea at the beginning of the show. I don't know how much we can discuss once we have the dates, but hopefully we'll get more details from Disneyland Paris on the day as well.
Well, we should get, I suppose what we should get is details about the reservation system and all that kind of thing. That they will announce some things that we don't already know, I think.
Yeah. True.
What's going to happen to people who have booked hotels, like all that kind of stuff. We might be able to answer those questions next week.
Exactly. All right. So
it's not going to be next week. It's going to be the week after. Yeah.
No, it's going to be next week.
Maybe in the middle, in between next week Friday.
Well, we'll see. So the last song of the day is someone selected Disney in the Stars. Who is it?
Richie.
Oh, it was Richie. Great, thank you, Richie. So I guess Disney in the Stars is...
requests and he's not on the show today.
Yeah, I don't know where he is.
He was supposed to be. I think
he's working. He's working, he says.
He's still working.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't understand that. Sorry.
He does like every other Monday or something he works.
Oh, so all the Mondays we have a show.
Yeah, so it's gone into that, yeah.
All right, well,
that's amazing. We did well.
Oh God, we did well.
Great timing.
The last song of the show is called Disney and the Stars, and from what I understand, it is a fireworks show at Hong Kong Disneyland, which is the musical theme of today. So this is what we're going to end the show with. And thank you everyone who listened to our almost 3 hours of rambling. And thank you everyone for joining on the show as usual. Thank you, Patrick, for the quiz. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And we will see you in a week or in 2 weeks, but we'll see you
soon.
we will not show up without a reopening date in hand. So, so hopefully
unless the reopening date gets delayed, and we happen to be here in 2 weeks anyway.
Exactly. But hopefully
So at
we'll
some
have.
point in the future, there'll be another show.
But we'll have the reopening date hopefully on the next show. All right. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.